Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live, episode 26. 26 episodes in. Wow. It's getting better and better as we go along. Your host here, Dave Morrissey, from the deep southwest of Limerick, coming to you once again. This week, we have a very eclectic kind of a lineup. One I'm going to enjoy. I'm really going to enjoy it, and you will too. We have Sean P. O'Neill. Sean has been around and wrote a lot of songs and has got a lot to talk about. We're going to have great fun, and you're going to enjoy meeting him. He's in an Airbnb this evening coming to us first, which I'm looking forward to. We're going to Limerick, back to my own hometown here at the minute, to speak to Benoit Vibes, who basically does mouth music with loops. Now that's pretty cool. That's something we haven't seen before on Friday Night Live. After that, we're going to head straight to Estonia, none other than Estonia, to speak to Rahel and Beck. And it is Mike's birthday tonight as well, so it's going to be extra special chatting to them. And then we're going to finish up tonight with Poetry Corner, our usual segment that's been running and getting bigger and bigger all the time. And tonight we have Finn Hall on the Poetry Corner. I'm also going to do a little plug at the end of the gig for my good friends Featherbed. It's a little story about an American lady and an Irish man who wrote music online during the pandemic and have now managed to get together and do a gig here in Ireland tomorrow night in the Silk and Thomas in County Kildare. I'm going to play a little bit of their music later on, tell you all about that before we go as well. So I suppose that's what's coming up on the show. So I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. And if you see the little PayPal running across the bottom of the screen, you know what that's for. It's just for supporting the show. All donations, little donations, by the way, nothing major, are welcome. And thank you so much to everybody who has done so. So far, thanks a million. It just keeps the ball rolling, everything going. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with a little tune by the man himself called Next Time Around, and this is by Sean P. O'Neill, and it was recorded at the lovely site of Loch Ennell. Now, if you've ever been to Loch Ennell, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. And he features his little pet doggy in this one. Well, I think it's his pet dog. He'll tell me when he comes on. I love this video. It's really cool. This is called Next Time Around by Sean P. O'Neill, and it's just beautiful. It really is. So we're going to kick back. We're going to enjoy this, and then we're going to talk to Sean. Here we go. Friday Night Live.
Next time I come around, next time I'll settle down, find a love that sings, teaches me to bring everything I can be to love. Next time I come around, I'll stand on firmer ground. Free to me, I know I won't pretend this, so I'll be free to live and get to love. I'll ride the rodeo, I'll learn to take all the falls, the applause. Next time I will not hide, risk everything there is to give, and live for love, for love. So when I'm born again, next time I won't pretend, I'll find a true self. Next time I won't sell out, oh, next time around I'll live for love. Next time around I'll live for love. I'll find a paper and a pen, draw the places I've been, like a kid connecting dots. So when I circle back again, surely I will know by then my soul has learned to love. And when I have my chance again, I won't wait until the end to begin again. I swear I'll jump right in. Next time around, I'll live for love. I'll ride the rodeo, I'll learn to take every fall with applause. Next time I will not hide, risk everything there is to give, and live for love. Next time I come around, next time I'll settle down, find a love that sings, teaches me to bring everything there is to give to love. Next time around, I'll live for love.
Wow, love it. I love that tune. I really love that tune. It's got an organic feel to it, and there's something quite cool about the dog. The way he just comes into that and stays in it, which I quite like. It's almost as though he's part of the act, which I love, and that doesn't happen naturally on a lot of videos. Trust me, it just kind of sometimes happens by accident, and it's a wonderful thing. It really is. That was Sean P. O'Neill. For those of you who don't know Sean, well, many of you do. I used to meet Sean on the open mic circuit in Dublin a lot, and we spoke about this earlier during soundcheck. In many different places we used to meet up, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But first, let's bring the man on and have a chat. Sean P. O'Neill.
Well, hello, Dave. How are you and everybody there?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Now, my dog, that was Clara. It was a she, is no longer around. She was definitely the star of the show. She was almost 15 when she had her last walk, and that was the 31st of December, and Bridget's Day she was a goner, but she gave me a great life, and it was kind of mutual, Juice. But like 2.5 years later, I'm busking somewhere. Where's your dog? Aren't you supposed to have a dog?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something, Sean. I had two dogs. One, Millie, God rest her, she lasted for almost 16 years as well.
Yeah.
So I know how you feel. They become a part of you. They're companions. And
Well, she came out.
Was the same. He lasted about 9 or 10 years, but they're part of the furniture, aren't they? They really are. Like they're a child when you get used to them.
Like she'd be out busking, and a toddler could hug her and fall on her, and she would not bat an eyelid. I mean, she was a brilliant dog, But anyway, look,
when you
get a dog, one ear's going to go before the other, So
I know, yeah. But look, what a video! Do you know what? I got a kind of a Roy Harper vibe off that. Is that okay to say that?
Absolutely. I saw Roy Harper when I was 17, and I saw him again with my daughter when she was 18, and then I saw him again in Liverpool, where I'd first seen him when. Don't know how old she was. I think it was his last gig and last tour he did,
Yeah.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted.
I hope that's okay with you. Yeah, I got that kind of vibe.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't say I hear it, but that song was actually a collaboration with a lovely lady called Phyllis Travis. She's from Houston in Texas, which is where the rodeo came from. I wrote it with Phyllis at a Listening Room International Songwriting Retreat. And the funny thing is, when we pulled into the Sequoia Retreat Center, I shared a wee little cabin with two lovely guys, Burton Jesperson and David Zink.
Yeah.
And I saw this woman next door, and she looked like the neighbor from a kind of a sitcom, Their Awful Neighbor.
Yeah.
I thought, oh.
Yeah.
But she'll probably be my first day writing,
Yeah.
And at the Listening Room Retreat, you introduce yourself on the evening, and then you start the next morning with a circle. It's like a therapy group. It's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, I've been to one or two. Yeah.
Okay, so Brett says to me, people are talking about it, and Phyllis talked a bit about her life, and I thought, oh my God, what a life. And suddenly this was not the loud neighbor from next door. And when I was told that, we were given a title actually next time around, and I was told myself and Phyllis would be writing together.
Right.
I went over to Phyllis and said, "Hey, Phyllis, I'm really happy writing with you." I said, "You're real and planted." She said, "Oh,
Okay.
real and planted. Nobody said that before, but I guess that's good." She was real Houston. She was a lesbian and small, and but she was great. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, cancer.
Ah.
But the song had a bit of a journey as well, because that was in Northern California, and she went away and had it demoed, and I wasn't totally happy with the song. I felt as though the chorus came in too early, and so I wasn't singing it. I was singing it and saying to friends, "Look, I have a bit of a song here. I love it, but I don't think it's finished." And Phyllis went away and had some. She did a great version live herself, but then she went away and had some kind of country guy to kind of demo it. And, but anyway,
change direction. It happens.
Yeah,
it
my
happens.
daughter later in the year invited me to Berlin, where she kind of retreated to get away from the doom and gloom in Dublin. And I said, "Look, I'll come out." And she said, "Look, Dad, if I have tickets for Leonard Cohen, can you be here on the 20th of August?" So I said, "Sure." So on the 20th of August, I sat down and I played Jodie this bit of a song. And she said, "God, I like that." And I said, "I love it, but it's not finished." So I sat down that day and I finished it. And its first performance was in a little bar in Berlin the next day. And I sent then to Phyllis, and I said, "Phyllis, I think maybe this works." And she loved it, which was great.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
So it's California, Berlin, with a Texas lady.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, but I love. They are always the best. They are always the best. I learned one thing. I went back to college, and I know you did too. You are doing it too.
So I did. Back to school at 66. Yeah.
Songwriting in UL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now I did that too in BIM in Dublin a couple of years back.
Okay, that's a great course.
It is a really good course.
Yeah,
really good. And I'll tell you, do you know the one word that they taught us that stuck in my mind, and you remind me of it in totally persona, like collaboration. If you can't do that, you can't, if you can't embrace that, like you've got a long road to go.
I have to say, I love it.
When I listen to you and look at you, I know you're that kind of person. You're wide open. You've no problem with collaborating and making something happen if it needs to happen. Tell me a bit about UL, the songwriting course in UL.
Well, okay, that's a very interesting one that you come in on collaboration, because this was the inaugural year, and there was a cohort of, guess how many?
Go on.
2.
No way.
And I think when my fellow student hit, who was at the cohort, he probably thought, "Oh shit," as I did. Okay, we knew each other from the open mic circuit, and I mean not from the open mic circuit.
Yeah.
And I do remember one day after he played, I went over to him and said, "Look, I have to say, I'm really sorry to say this, but I actually like your songs." Brief smile, back to serious face. Okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no matter how Carl tried to say, this is really important, he was like the artist who says, "Well, 2 people don't sit down and paint a picture, So we did no collaboration whatsoever on the course. Now, I've done a lot of collaborating. I love it. I think one of the best things about collaborating is you turn up. I mean, like, I have about 250 starts on probably more like 650 starts on my phone, like, some great little ideas, but I don't come back to them. Sometimes I do. Actually, I'll sing this song later. It's called Rainbows and Gold, and that
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward
simply
to that.
I was
do you know the course that you're doing in UL? Sorry, I just wanted to ask you about that. You said there was only 2 people left.
On the first year. It's up to like 8 now, or 10, even.
That's mind-blowing.
2.
That's mind-blowing.
Well, it was. I mean, we were spoiled rotten. Like, I mean, we had 26 maybe writers come in.
And who's looking after the course? Who's your mentor?
Carl Corcoran.
Carl Corcoran. All right.
I think
we got a lot of time.
Brilliant. We were guinea pigs, I think, So maybe
That's
we were
good.
trial basis. I don't know, but there
That's
were 2
good.
of us. We had a fantastic range of writers in. I mean, we had one lovely one I remember was Jim Doherty. Just came in to talk about the Great American Songbook.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
he was fantastic. He just literally riffed through about 10 songs and tell hilarious stories about how they were written. I mean, like for example, Irving Berlin went along and produced like to a music show producer. Always, a song called Always.
Yeah,
It wasn't accepted for that because the guy said, no. He says, you can't have anything always. He said, but it's I'll be loving you always. No, there's no always. So Irving Berlin said, well, how about I'll be loving you Tuesdays? So that show didn't take the song, and then another one. He had a load of stories like that about it. If you ever meet Jim
love
Doherty.
those stories. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love those stories. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You were late to the game. Like, this is what I love too, because I've had one or two guests in the past who were late to the game as well and have gone on and are going on to do great things. Yeah. But how I suppose hard to how did that happen? How did that happen? Was it just that you were just too busy in earlier years?
Not really. No. When I was a kid, I used to go to a market for my ma. There was one train station away from where I lived, and probably about 7 or 8. And if I got back to the waiting room after getting the stuff for the market, there'd be a stove, pop a lid stove on there, great acoustic. If there was nobody, I'd sit down and I'd sing the latest Cliff Richard or whatever, you know. And I loved it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had this fear of singing in public, like, you know.
Right.
A conversation I had with me, I always knew I wanted to do it, but if you asked me to sing at a party, no, couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't let me sing. I thought I could sing, but I didn't know I could sing. And then if I tried to sing for one person, I'd croak. And I then think it was probably just my hearing that different people would hear different things. Yeah. So I didn't sing. A conversation with my ex-wife about a year before we split, and it's not the reason we split. You know, she said, look, you're always saying that you don't want to be a photographer for the rest of your life. I mean, I was wondering what I wanted to do when I grew up, apart from that I probably didn't want to grow up. And, you know, deep somewhere inside, I knew I wanted to sing, you know, but I just didn't seem very practical. And I said, well, you know, in an ideal world, I'd like to sing and like to write songs. And she said, well, okay, A, she said, you can't sing. She says, B, she says, you're not very good on the guitar. And C, she said, I've known you like over 25 years. And she said, I don't think you've ever written a postcard, you know. And it was all true at the time.
Yeah.
No, I think Chris Christopherson said, you know, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. So like a year after I'd left my wife, I'd lived in Wexford for 6 months. I'd lived in Clare for 6 months, and I just moved to Galway. And, you know, I think I basically said, look, okay, God, you know, I've tried it my way.
Yeah.
And it's not working. Why don't I just listen to whatever I hear from you? I'm not going to go all godlike on you now, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I just kind of went with the flow, you know?
Yeah.
And I basically decided, I just moved to Galway, that on my next birthday, I was going to take the songs I was messing with Leonard Cohen, Guy Clark, John Prine, and I was going to go busking on my birthday, you know? So I did. And it was a Sunday, and I went to Mass in a nightclub where I'd been to belly dancing the night before. There was a priest who was, I don't know, was he excommunicated, but he was a married priest, and he gave a mass there every Sunday. And
was he at the belly? Well, he wasn't at the belly dancing, was he?
Oh, I don't think so. I didn't notice if he was. You know, but it was the same room.
How he got excommunicated? That would be a good start.
No. It was the same. It was the same room. I can't remember the name of the club. It was on Dominic Street. But but I brought my guitar in, and then I went on, of all places, I went on the bridge over the Corrib, you know, and I'm singing, and a guy comes over to me. He was a busker. Yeah. Sang a song. He said, "Hey, it was my first pound actually. He put a pound on me." He said, "Look, honestly, I'm not trying to take your spot," but he said, "You could be busking in much better places." He said, "Your voice is going everywhere because you're, you know." So I moved, and he was Pat. I played mandolin. I saw him every night, and it probably still is actually on Shop Street. Pardon me, but yeah. So I actually had a ball. I loved it, and
you fell in love with busking, didn't you?
To absolutely head over heels. Yeah,
that's your thing.
I always opened because it was still a bit. It was like jumping out of a plane. I always opened with a Guy Clark song called "Stuff That Works," and that was because I'd kind of worked out an intro, which gave me a little bit of pull into it, and it would have looked more foolish doing the intro and then putting my guitar away than I would have opening my mouth and singing horribly, So it was great. So I went out the same evening. I broke a couple of strings. I think it damaged my vocal cords. Couldn't sing for a week, but I was raring to go back,
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I went to Scotland, hitchhiking and busking for my holiday.
Right.
Left my car in Lawn. Not a good idea, but it was still there when I came back. And I came back and I had my first song written, my second song written, and my third one, which was more of a real feeling song, on the way, started. And synchronicity, I arrived back to Galway, went into a cafe called Apostasy, which was like a hub, a connecting hub. It was brilliant. There was a notice on the notice board, songwriting group meeting Taylor's on Monday nights. So there we go. I went into Taylor's with my 2.5 songs, and the guy who ran it wasn't there, but there was a girl named Mary. And Mary had 7 songs. And she said, Brian, if it was Brian, has 18 songs, So I went there every week, and I always felt like I needed something new when I went back. So I was working for myself. I started just taking every Wednesday off and allowing myself the freedom to write a song or not.
Yeah.
And they just all fell out. A year later, 50 songs, accidental album.
Yeah. Now this, I want to ask you about this. So a year later, you get the album comes together, 50 songs, right?
Yeah.
Now, that was pretty quick when you think about it. Maybe you were late to the game, but when you hit the ground running.
Oh, when it got going, there
was no messing. That was. Where did you record that album?
Oh, well, I played at a party. There was I had a friend in Galway, Rusty. I met him at this party. Now, we really had nothing to do with each other for a while, but the party was in the house of Peter Vassell. And Rusty, I believe he played with Motorhead and fell out with them while they were recording the first album. He was a cantankerous guy, but I loved him. But anyway, Rusty was just sitting there funking away, improvising on an electric guitar, really, really good stuff. Yeah. And I went into another room, I was playing my songs. And then Peter said to me later, he said, are they your own songs? I said, yeah, they are. I said, what do you do with them? I said, I'm singing them. And he said, well, would you not demo them? I said, Peter, I can't actually really afford to. And he said, well, could you afford £15 for an hour? I said, well, I could probably afford an hour. So I did my hour. That was grand. Sang 6 songs. Just whatever was in my head on the day.
Yeah.
And then I'd been in Africa for 2 months, and I wound up, I'd been burning the candle at both ends. I'd chase any idea. If it was 5 o'clock in the morning when I finished a song, I wouldn't let go, Don't do that now. But I wound up with pneumonia, and I had a bunch of new songs. And then I got Losers and Sinners on my way back from an arts festival in Sligo because somebody gave me C sus4 as a chord. Yeah. And I thought, I like that.
What a chord. Yeah.
So I rang Peter and said, hey, Peter, I have a bunch of new songs. Is there any chance I could come into you maybe for 2 hours this time? He said, yeah, no problem. Went in on a Saturday. He recorded one, played it back. And I said, you know what? I said, I mean, it's basically the same setup for all. Why didn't I just sing away until? Yeah. So I sang 18 songs. No, I didn't do the ones I'd already done the previous session. So some of them are on my second album. And grand. And on the Monday, I got a tape from him. I listened through. Now, the pneumonia, I had a cough on one song. But I'm listening. I think it's actually all right, First song is called Inshallah. I wrote that in Senegal. And I rang Peter then. Well, no, actually, the second time listening through, I started writing sleeve notes. And then I rang Peter and said, could you do a CD master from that? And he said, I was thinking the same thing, but you have a problem. So I said, Peter, I have a lot of problems. That's what I'm singing about. He said, no. He said, you'd need to, he said, I can clean it up a bit and you'd need to take out a couple of the shorter ones. I said, no, I just want it the way it was on the day. And he said, well, you've kind of got 80 minutes there.
Right.
And I said, well, check it out without the last song. I said, that's a great song. I said, well, yeah, maybe I'll do it again, but just check it out without that, because it was a song which had a preamble. And he came back to me. He said, 73 minutes, 50 seconds. And I said, inshallah, we got 74 on the CD. So, yeah, I was kind of running my business into the ground as well. So it seemed like a good time to, that was July. September, I went up to Dublin for a week to get a job, learn to live on basic minimum wage. So I got a job, to the envy of a lot of girls who haven't a clue, in a chocolate factory. And I brought my guitar into the factory and left it in HR offices and went busking in the evening. That got me my first 100 CDs made. And went back in January 2000. I had an idea which everybody said, oh, yeah, that never work. And so January 2000, I quit. About 2 days back, there was nothing doing. It was kind of waiting for Easter egg malls. And so I quit and picked up a 12-string Seagull. And,
lovely, nice guitar.
Yeah, it was a lovely guitar. It is a lovely guitar. I should take it out and play it more often. But actually spent 2 years making a living with a Seagull with a broken neck, which is kind of,
there you go.
But that's another. So the following Monday, I mean, I spent the rest of the week busking. The following Monday, I just walked out of where I was staying, and I crossed the street and knocked on the first door I came to and said, look, I'm Sean O'Neill. I'm writing songs. I'm promoting my own album. I'd love to sing you a random track of it live in your dubstep. And if you like it, I've got it here for sale.
Now, this I love. This is what, this I love, because I don't know anybody else that has done that. That takes.
I don't know. I think there was somebody in Brazil, maybe. Somebody told me about, maybe.
Great idea. Well, why not? Why not?
It wouldn't work now, Dave, because at that stage, you go to a gig, you pay a tenner for a CD, and my darling is awake. Okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and shoot. No, but I shouldn't digress. But anyway, maybe she's watching. I don't know, but she's got no electricity for the rest of the day after 6.
Well, we can give her a shout. We'll give her a shout out for sure. We'll give her a shout out.
Okay, Maribel, if you're there, hi, darling. Okay,
hello to Maribel.
Okay. So no, it wouldn't work now because a CD at a gig used to be a tenner. Okay. In the shops, like $17.99. Okay. Now a CD is $2.99 in Tesco. You might pay a tenner at a gig.
It's watered down. It is.
And it's downloads. So also fuel is dear. It was like I did
everything is different. Spotify. We have Spotify now, where everything is practically
free almost.
Just for people listening, for people listening, because I wanted to touch off because I love it that you began to call to people's doors. Okay, for people listening, like this is unheard of, and I love it. And introduce yourself. I'm Sean. This is my album. Pick a song off it. I'll play it for you. Rendition, no problem. And out of that, you had some pretty interesting people that bought copies from you.
Well, I did, but I had a lot of people who said, "I should."
P.P. Fallon, Declan O'Rourke, Roger Whittaker. It's cool, isn't it? It's a cool journey.
Well, okay. Now, if I knocked on a door and somebody said to me, "Elvis lives next door," I wouldn't not knock next door. But if I knocked next door and Elvis was out, it wasn't meant to be. Mary Black as well. I didn't recognize Mary Black. I sang for Mary Black, and I think it was probably probably Frances Black there. There were two lovely housewives with a few kids and a couple of dogs. And she actually said to me, look, there's no way I'm going to buy a CD, but I'll listen to a song by all means, She told me her front room was full of CDs. Now, it was 2 doors later. I mean, I got lucky on that road because 2 doors later, they said, look, we'll come in and sing a song. So I did. They bought an album and said, did you sing at the first house? I said, yeah, I did, yeah. And they said, and? I said, well, and nice family. But did you not? I said, who should I recognize? It was Mary Black. Oddly enough, I think I sang at her house a couple of years later as well. Came in from the other end. I sang at Christa Berg's house twice in the one night. Would you believe I got lost in Dalkey? Went around the block and came back. only recognized it. I didn't. He wasn't there.
Did he buy it?
No, I sang for his son at the door. He said,
Okay.
I've got no money. I said, it doesn't matter. I'll sing you a song if you like. So he did. Big eyebrows and walked around the block.
You knew it was him. Yeah.
And knocked at the door, and a woman answered the door. She said, oh, you want to sing a song? I said, yeah. And she said, well, can I give you £1? And I said, well, yeah, fine. And sang a song. And then I looked at the bay window, and there's the young fellow with the big eyebrows. Same house, you know. Anyway, I would never usually, but yeah, no. BP Fallon.
Yeah, he's a great actor,
it was a wet Wednesday, and it was in Churchtown. Now he doesn't live there, but I knocked on the door, and I did, sure enough, recognize BP Fallon. And he said, "Hey, man," he said, "Look," he says, "I don't buy CDs." He said, "So you know, no, really." And I said, "Look, I didn't ask you to buy a CD." And I said, frankly, I said, you know, maybe tomorrow I'll come and beg you to take 10 CDs for nothing. But I said, it's Wednesday, it's raining, a shit day. All I'm asking, I'll sing you a song, and if you like it and you want to buy a CD, I can sell you one, or you can get one on Freebird Records, you know.
Yeah.
All right, says, go on. So I always said people pick two numbers between 1 and 17. Didn't let them look at titles. Oh, I said leave out number 8. It's a poem. And so he picked 2 songs. The reason I asked for 2, I didn't want to be singing anything too intense on the doorstep.
Yeah.
So the title track was out, and I Can't Hear You was out. So what's he do? He picks Losers and Sinners, and he picks I Can't Hear You. So I sang him one, and I said, yeah, you're not bad. What about the other one? So I was saying the other one. He said, okay, look, I'm going to buy one of them from you. Okay.
Brilliant.
And so, he bought a CD, and then he asked, could he take a picture? And I said, sure. I said, will you send it to me? He said, I'm not going to say because he said, I probably won't, but I might. He never did. But anyway.
Yeah.
No hard feelings, BP. Roger Whittaker was gardening. And that was when I was driving door to door at little MX5. That was great. I didn't walk housing estates unless it was raining. I throw the roof down on the car, sling the guitar on the back, drive.
Great idea.
Brilliant.
But
it wouldn't work now. It
wouldn't actually. You're right.
In 2002, I just got the car and I did a 32 county tour of Ireland challenge, leaving the Phoenix Park at 12 on a Monday and getting back at 12 the following Monday. Singing one song and selling at least one CD in every county with no accommodation paid for, either a tent or something. I'd go into the pub at the end of the day and play a song when asked, and where are you staying? I don't know. Oh, look, we have a couch. It was great. Brilliant. It was an adventure.
Brilliant. Why not? Yeah, there is a book in it. You're right. There is.
Well, I need to get a comfortable chair. Okay.
There is a book in it. I love it. I think I just think it's a super. It was a super idea, and I think now, what would people think if a young fella decided to do it now? Maybe people would they wouldn't open the door for a start, because we've gotten very afraid of each other. And
no, you're wrong. There was a guy. Northside somewhere did a vinyl album, I think a couple of years ago. Somebody sent it to me. Now, he got kind of a bit of publicity on it, but don't know. I'm looking at the clock here, Dave. If you want a song, I better get singing.
We're going to go for a song, but listen, thanks very much for coming on, Sean. I love your story. There is a lot more. We could talk. I know we could talk all night, but listen, before you do go and do the live sound, where can people get your music?
Oh, you'll see me on the street. Stop me and buy one, okay? Look, I'm on CD Baby, so my stuff is on Amazon, and it's on Spotify, and it's on all these places.
Okay, anyway. And it's under Sean P. O'Neill Music, or Sean P. O'Neill?
I don't know. Sean O'Neill. I'll tell you what. If you type in Sean O'Neill, and if you type in any of my album titles,
we'll find it.
Or Odds and Sods, Losers and Sinners, or Still Life in Black and White.
We'll put something up. And come here, what street can you be seen busking most regularly?
Random.
Anywhere.
I'll tell you what, tomorrow I'll be at near Meeting House Square in Temple Bar. Right. There's a market on there, and there's a tunnel going through which has a nice acoustic.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
And the dodgy steps, mind you don't trip on them. I always see somebody trip on the steps. The rhythm of the steps is wrong.
Okay.
And hello to anybody who knows me. My mommy is in heaven. My daddy is in heaven. But other
Listen,
than that,
if anybody is in Temple Bar tomorrow, take the spin, and if you'll hear him for sure, and you're going to hear him right now. Sean P.
Okay.
O'Neill doing a live song for us. Sean, in your own time, take it away, my friend.
This song you can't buy yet. Sun and rain make rainbows. Everybody knows they come and go. Silently they go. When the sun comes out, or the rain pours down, as the weather makes up its mind. As the weather makes up its mind. Once I chased the rain for a pot of gold, always just a step ahead. Now as I grow old, I see pretty colors like moving stars. I wonder at how beautiful they are. I wonder at how beautiful they are. We all chase our rainbows, real or in our heads. Some folks even chase them till they wake up dead. And it's too late then to see the beauty all around, in every tree and every single flower. In every tree and every single flower. You walked here beside me, sunshine and rain. We laughed and smiled at rainbows, won't be back again. Now I realize I'm more than gold, and all I need I see in your eyes. All I need I found in your eyes. Like sun and rain make rainbows, you and I make gold.
Beautiful.
Can I say a quick thing?
Yes, you can.
That song is looking for a good home, male or female. If somebody thinks they'll actually bring it to further down.
I can think of many people who could bring that anywhere.
They need to be over 21 at least. But
well, you've brought it to a lovely place there. What's it called?
It's called Rainbows and Gold.
Rainbows and Gold.
I think some of the inspiration, apart from the weather, my brother Dermot, he lost his wife last year, and they were married a long time. I knew Susan when she was 15 years old, and then again around the same time, John Prine left us all, and I was so feeling his posts, and But anyway, David, absolutely, thank you. It's been
thank you so much.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Well,
I shouldn't have had the spicy thing for my dinner. I felt dodgy on that. Come and hear me. I'll sing it for you tomorrow in Temple Bar. Or
anybody who's out, anybody who's out and about.
It's Dublin at the moment, but that's not my usual stomping ground. I'm in the middle of nowhere, sort of in Ruski, and kind of the towns and the villages around.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
I'm told I'm like a social worker there.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much, Sean P. O'Neill. It's been a pleasure, and you're a person that I've wanted to have on the show for a while, so thank you so much.
Well, why did you take so long to ask me? Or at least you got me in a nice house, okay? All right.
enjoy the Airbnb, and
I'm here for 5 weeks.
Oh, you're very lucky. Very lucky.
I could rent my place for 9 months for what this place has cost for 5 weeks. But anyway.
I hear you.
All right. Cheers.
Right, listen, go and enjoy yourself.
Keep
stay
up
with
the
us,
excellent work, Dave, okay?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sean. Take care. Sean P. O'Neill, or Sean O'Neill. You'll find him on all the usual spots, Facebook as well, Instagram, and of course CD Baby and all the usuals. But go to Temple Bar if you're in Dublin tomorrow. If you're in and around Temple Bar, listen out for him. He's a great busker and a great singer and a great guy. really and truly. So check him out. I'm going to keep moving anyway because we're a little bit behind, but it's not. Look, it's no biggie on Friday Night Live. This happens. I mean, it's a good thing if you're running behind. It means we've got something to talk about. So that's how I see it anyway. But moving on, my next guest. This is the first time ever on Friday Night Live that I have encountered somebody like this, and I know him we know each other from before, down the road and the journey of songwriting and open mics and all that kind of stuff. He used to run a fabulous open mic here in Limerick City back in the day, and that's how I met him. But his genre at the minute is mouth music. Now I'm going to leave that with you for a minute, and I'm going to play you his song called "So Shall We Dancing," and have a listen to this. This is Benoit Vibes. Now this, my friends, in my opinion, is pretty cool. This is all done vocally with the mouth, okay? So you got to listen to this. It's looping at its best. And then we'll have a chat with Benoit. Here we go.
Let's paint bright colors, complain, limited borders, freedom in containment, following orders. No difference, the frame ends the same for the others. Not close enough with close ones, not far enough from strangers. Drawing lines on concrete with my feet. So shall we dancing, social distancing, solo no fancy, so shall we dancing.
Wow. I just love it. I love it. That, my friends, is how it's done. That is how it is done. And I can tell you something. That is all done orally, mouth music, okay? I can tell you something. I'm a drummer and I'm a singer and a guitar player, and I can tell you that is something that is not easy to do for two reasons. I go around the house humming to myself all the time and beatboxing, if you like. We do it as drummers a lot, but to sit down and do all of that on a looper and come up with it, not just rhythmically but melodically and catchy, and have a hook and have an entire song and good subject as well, that takes doing. That is not easy, I can tell you that now. So I'm going to go straight. I'm staying here in Limerick because my friend Benoit Vibes is just in the road for me, which is super actually, and it's nice to bring it home. Sorry guys, just a little thing there. Here we go. Benoit, how are you, my friend?
Very good. How are you?
It is good to have you. It is good to have you, my friend. And we're back home. We're in Limerick, the two of us. I think this is a first. I don't think I've had a guest on the show yet that's been in the same county as me. This is brilliant.
Oh Jesus, yeah, I'm only down the road. Yeah, it's always the ones that live around the corner that you wait, that you visit
Yes.
least.
Yeah, it's mad. And here we are, like virtually speaking to each other. And there was a time when you and I would meet each other very, very regularly on the open mic circuit back in the day, when you ran a fabulous night actually in Breaker's Place, I think it was called. Was it Baker's Place? Break Your Face, they used to call it. That's why I keep calling it Breaker's Face. So Baker's Place. And I loved that open mic because it was so open and easy, and you were just so chilled out. It was like anything went. It was all good. It was all cool. How are things with you?
Pretty good. Yeah. Tipping away, sure. You know the way they say. It's like, what are you up
Yes.
to? Nothing.
Nothing.
What are you up to? Nothing. So, but
Nothing.
like, yeah, a lot of time has passed, and we all done a lot of things. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like we're doing nothing.
you have done a lot of things. And for people listening in, they're probably wondering, hang on a minute now, he's not from Limerick. Well, you are. You're from Brussels, but you're more Limerick than anyone I know. that's for sure. But you're a Brussels native and living in Limerick. But tell me this and tell me no more. DJ Nothing, that was something that was that you were doing for a while, and that was pretty cool. And you did a performance for Louis Walsh, which I watched during the week, and the panel, of course, of Ireland's Got Talent, I think, wasn't it? And
Yeah, that's it.
and I know your first performance was pretty cool, but your second one was the one that got me because it was called Say Nothing, and I watched
No,
it during the week.
that was the first one. That was
That
the
was the
first
first
one.
one. Sorry, that
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
first one. And you came out on stage uh, in mime as such, with the makeup and the whole lot, and you said and did nothing, and it was hilarious and also really cool. I'll be honest with you. I loved it. I watched it. I went, that is what we call sticking it to the man because you delivered it perfectly. And I would urge anyone to just go and watch it. I think it's really cool. And I mean that as a compliment because mime, if that's what you were doing, which I think you are doing, it was perfect. It was just perfect the way you delivered the performance because they hadn't a clue what you were doing, that was the idea of it, wasn't it?
Um, it was to be a contrast in terms of what was expected from the show. So
Yeah.
somebody doing absolutely nothing would be,
Yeah.
why?
Why
But
not?
it was because I was in art college anyway, so it was a conceptual performance
Yeah.
piece, and I'm a little bit obsessed with the concept of nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
doesn't exist, so find the
Yeah.
something to explain your nothing. Yeah, it gets very, very deep and
Yeah.
profound, but then
Yeah.
yeah, put a bit of clowning with this, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
can twist it around, and
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Are,
mime
are
then
you?
takes away the identity, which is
Are,
pretty good as
yeah.
well.
Are you a big fan like of mime? Are you a big fan of that? Is that something
No, it
you're?
wasn't about that. It was more actually. It was an amalgamation of different things because you're in college. You have to kind of go over a few things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then there's a bit of a mishmash. Um, shit
Yeah.
brought together. There's
Yeah.
Buto dance. The Buto dance is a Japanese style of dancing, but it's very free form, freestyle. But they paint themselves completely in white to take away the identity, and it's kind of a bit
Ah.
creepy, but very.
Okay.
Oh, it's very interesting. So
Is that where you got the idea for your like the white face paint thing? Because it's a
yeah,
really cool image. It
yeah.
really stands out. Yeah.
And then I turned it into a mime because of the absurdity, and I was doing a bit of
Right.
clown school. Um, and from there on it had a huge impact of the way I was thinking. So this whole thing of serious concept became funny, but then it gets deeper and deeper, and you can
Yeah.
look at it in so many different ways. So and then I bring it back after the college because it was very visual. After the
Yeah.
college, then um, I just wanted to incorporate that into the music and get a more approach. I use it in a more a lot of absurdity. You know the way you were
Yeah.
saying you'd be
Yeah.
hopping about at home,
Yeah.
music be going in your head and doom ticka 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 doom. But then
Yeah.
take this silliness and then take it a bit more serious and but not too serious. I don't want to
Yeah.
sound like a beatboxer too much
Yeah.
because then you're chasing something and you're chasing a sound. Well, I like to just do silly things and
Yeah.
then learn from those and kind of going, actually, that could work. And so that's my approach and start from nothing.
Yeah, and yeah, that makes sense because yeah, it does because we all do it, not just musicians, non-musicians. I think everybody does it walking around the place, don't we?
Yeah.
Everybody. I know, like, well, speaking musically, I suppose a lot of my friends who are into drumming and rhythmic stuff and all that, we tend to. I can't even walk without humming to the rhythm of my steps. Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. I just can't. But when I started to check your stuff out, the stuff that you're doing now with the loop pedal and stuff, I've been watching that, by the way, way before this. Okay, I've been watching stuff you've been doing all along, and I thought, whoa, this is what I do all day long, walking around the place. But you've taken it to a new level, which is brilliant. And it's like I have to read this for everybody before we go any further because your press release is my favorite press release. I told you this during soundcheck that I've ever gotten for Friday Night Live, ever. And the description of Benoit vibes, as you have put it, and I love it, sounds like Bobby McFerrin, Tricky, and PJ Harvey are making a strawberry cheesecake for the Grim Reaper's birthday party. Now Just let that sit, okay? Because that's pretty cool. Uh, when I listen to you, it is just I don't know what's going to happen next, and that's the best part. At what point did you decide, right? I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this down and start making something out of it?
Um, I always wanted to, and the way I was working with recordings before, oh yeah, not finding the right musicians. It was really
Right?
annoying because I like really simple stuff, but
Yeah.
then try and get it tight. That's what the way I wanted to start, and then
Yeah.
everybody kind of goes into their own
Yeah.
thing, no bother. But for me, it wasn't. It was difficult to find the right ones. So I started being really playful. I recorded my first, whatever you call it, recording,
Yeah.
EP kind of stuff, and I only used my voice to replace the musicians. And I thought, okay, I'll do this first, and then I'll
Yeah.
tell the musicians this is what I want.
Oh, good
Uh,
idea. Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Yeah.
but then it just kept on going, and every time you reach different musicians, it becomes something else, which was very interesting as well. So there was
Mm.
all the, when we were hanging out back in the day, there was kind of
Yeah.
the process that was going on then.
Yes.
Um, and then came this lovely thing here, the Boss RC505,
It is
which
a superb machine for those who don't know what that
Mhm,
is. Ah,
mhm.
it is the king of looping machines, for sure. Tell me this, that is your girlfriend right now, isn't it? That's like
That's my wife.
that's your
That's my
wife.
wife. Yeah.
Ah, that's serious, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
serious now. That's getting serious. But listen, you obviously have sat down for many, many, many hours and messed around with this board.
Yeah. I had another one before. There was a single one. A single pedal, so one channel. So this has
Yeah, one
five
channel
channels.
only, yeah. You've got
Yeah.
5, exactly, and you've got dubbing, and you've got all sorts of controls on it, which is cool as well.
You have a few different things. You have your ingoing effects and your outgoing effects. It's really nifty. It's simple, but it's put together very well. I don't get paid for this, It's like I just really really like
Yeah,
it. And there's a
yeah.
new one that just came out, I think. So,
Uh-oh.
but
Time
I
for
can't afford it anyway.
I was gonna
So
say time for yeah, I was gonna say divorce is on the cards. Time for a new
no,
wife.
no, I can have two wives.
You can Of course you can. Why not? Well, of course you can.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but I watched a video as well, during the week, of a gig that you did in Cork, with your wife, and it was amazing. It was a video of some of the stuff you did down there, and like live, you are a band. You are a band with the pedal board. Like it's unbelievable. You've put a lot of effort into this. This isn't something where you're just kind of going, because looping. Let's face it, I hate loop. I love it and I hate it at the same time, because if you're not tight and you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna go horribly wrong, isn't it? It's gonna go downhill fast.
yeah, because if there's a mistake on the loop, the
Yeah.
mistake keeps repeating. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's not good. It's
That's
not
a bit
good.
tricky.
It's not, yeah. So, like, tell me this: you must have had many's, or have you had a live situation where that happened? And it's like, damn it, I've got to start over.
Yeah, when you're talking about any kind of recording, I mean the one in Cork, was very. My voice was so shaky. I was so
Yeah,
nervous. It was such
yeah,
a nice little space, and I was like, oh shit.
yeah, yeah,
And at the time, I was still kind of fresh with that.
yeah,
So yeah, now I'm a bit more relaxed. Now I
yeah.
haven't done it properly live
Okay,
in since before. I haven't really done any live stuff for the whole lockdown and after.
yeah.
I'm actually not thinking about it because I'm trying to learn about tattooing because
Yes, I
back in
saw I saw a thing on your Facebook profile, yesterday, like on fruit. It was like you're tattooing bananas.
yeah, I'm
So
moving over to pigskin now,
that
and I'm
is
going to start a course next month about um, disease control and prevention for understand
yeah,
about blood and understand about skin and a
yeah.
few things like that. Because there's no regulations in Ireland, so if you get a tattoo,
Really?
just check it out, please. Uh,
Yeah. Is
if
is
they
there
know
no
if they know what they're doing.
there's no regulation here for
No,
any sort of safety when it comes to tattoos?
no,
Wow.
not in
Uh,
Ireland, which is
are you
weird.
gonna set? Do you think you might set up a tattoo parlor at some point, or
Well, I have to first get through the
get through
the loops
the
of
course? Yeah,
drawing I can do, but then there's
yeah,
can you tattoo, and then
yeah,
going through the course because I think it's really important.
yeah,
Because I think those regulations have to come in at some point,
yeah.
and maybe can give me an opportunity to travel. So imagine doing a few tattoos during the day, take the loop station and go and play a few gigs. Woo! That'd be
Sounds
great. That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
It just sounds like heaven, man. It just
Mm.
sounds great. It sounds heaven. And also, just for people watching who aren't aware, you are a superb artist as well. I've seen your stuff, your drawings, and it's all good. And
Thank
it's
you very
varied.
much.
It's varied from like fine art to sketches and themed sketches and stuff. It's really cool. Where's the best place for people to centrally go and see everything that you do? Because you do so much.
Yeah, I'm not very good with promoting myself.
That's
So
okay. That's okay.
there's
I found you on Facebook and I found loads of stuff. And I found
hashtag Benoit vibes and see what you come up with.
Benoit vibes.
It can
Exactly.
be
That's good.
anything though. I've done,
Yeah,
yeah, I've messed around with a lot of stuff. So
yeah,
um
yeah. I
yeah,
think
it
it's
can be
cool. I
anything.
think it's cool. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Benoit, Benoit with a large N, Vibes, Benoit vibes, and I did that, and I found loads of your stuff anyway. So I urge people to go and check it all out. But this is the thing that I really like, and this is the mouth music, the looping. This is my favorite thing you have done, my friend, and I've seen you do lots of cool stuff. But this is good, and I really wish you all the best. I don't know where it's going to go. Who knows? But I think it could go somewhere. I really think it could go somewhere. If you were, when you are doing this live in Limerick, I want to know because I'm going to the gig. I'm telling you that now. I want to sit there and chillax, have a few beers, and listen to this because I love it. What are you going to do for us live?
I have an old song because I hadn't practiced my live set in a while, so I took the song
Okay.
that I'm most confident with, which
Yeah,
I might still fuck up. There's absolutely
that's okay.
it's
That's okay.
always a risk. Um, la, 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 la. Yeah, and if you wanna, I don't think you're gonna be doing much live stuff for a while.
Yeah.
But if you wanna check it out, I'm gonna be doing like weird shit, and I call it Radio Nothing, and that's on my YouTube channel. That is Benoit
Okay.
Vibes.
Benoit Vibes
Um,
YouTube channel.
yeah. Uh,
Radio Nothing. Okay, cool.
so there's a bit of that. But for the rest, I take it easy. It was great to see you, kind of thing, and going, okay, yeah, I'll try something for that.
Yeah.
Uh, But now I know that it works as well, so that's a good opportunity. So you can hear
Uh,
me, it work. I can hear you.
yeah, it's all
So we,
no, it's all
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Before you do something live for me, what is going to happen, or is there anything happening with the open mic vibe in Limerick, or are you still involved?
Well, I'm not. No, I'm well, a little bit. Like because of the conditions we're in and the situation and the head
Yeah,
thing. We are, with the open mic, you all share the microphone.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like everybody's spitting in that thing,
yeah.
especially me, and going up,
It's too tricky.
you know.
Yeah, it's too tricky.
Um, but then, yeah, you never know.
It'll come
Just
back. I hope so. I
acoustic
hope it will.
sessions. I don't know. I think they're
Yeah.
great opportunities for everybody.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah. I think the internet has been good though. It's been a good thing if you use it properly. It is a good thing, and it's helped us all. I've made loads of connections through the show here. We all have. We're all kind of we're good musicians. We're good like that. We'll just keep going, won't we? We don't stop regardless of what's going on. We no choice. We have to keep moving. We
yeah,
don't have a choice. What are we going to do live? What's the name of this song? So.
freedom.
Freedom by Benoit Vibes. Mouth music, my friends. This, I can tell you, is different. And you will not have seen this before in this country. I've never seen it before. I can't wait. So, in your own time, Benoit, take it away.
Thank you. There are no more angels gonna call upon. Freedom, oh freedom, it's you I call upon, yeah. Freedom, oh freedom, it's you I call upon, yeah. Yeah. Freedom, oh freedom, it's you I call upon, yeah. Freedom, oh freedom, it's you I call upon, yeah. I'm counting the time I spend in this town. My love went flying and I'm feeling down. Everything's the same. I've been here too long. Nothing seems to change. Gonna call upon freedom, oh freedom. It's you I call upon. Yeah. Freedom, oh freedom. It's you I call upon. Yeah, yeah. Freedom, oh freedom. It's you I call upon. Yeah. Freedom, oh freedom. It's you I call upon. Yeah.
Whoa. That breaks the mold, my friend. That breaks the mold. Wow, 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 wow. That is so cool. I'm getting total like Bob Marley vibes. I'm getting everything there. I'm getting everything. You could totally be in the clubs. You could just do a nightclub gig. I think you could keep it going, man. I just think you could do the whole thing.
Yeah, I did a thing in Mickey's before the lockdown. There was like a, but then yeah, it's. I prefer the theater kind of setup. You
Yeah.
know, kind
Okay.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody just enjoy because then I don't have to go too much nightclubby, and then I
Yeah.
can
I
go
know.
more
Yeah.
experimental.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a fine
but
line,
yeah,
isn't it?
it was really challenging to stay and keep each song in chained in
Yeah.
continuation. But you had to sound like a DJ, you know, and the
Yeah.
DJ
Yeah.
doesn't take his breath, you know, and goes.
Yeah.
uh,
You don't have time. You don't have time for that.
yeah,
That's brilliant. Listen, I love it. Freedom. Man, what tune? That's in my head now, and that's good. That's in my head. I can't stop thinking about it. I wish you all the best, my friend, and we will meet for a beer soon. I know we will because we're close enough. We're all right. We'll be fine. We can definitely hook up in Limerick City soon and trash out a few beats. I can see the two of us sitting at the bar, like, and everybody looking at us, going, "What's wrong with those two?" And we'll just be like totally beating it out.
oh yeah, yeah. I love the sit down sessions and just beat in a little
Just go
group
for it.
or just one
Go
on
for it.
one.
Yeah,
It's really, really, yeah.
I'd be up
It's
for
the
that.
best shit.
I'd be up for that if you ever want to do a beat like a mouth music open mic. There's an idea. And no instruments, just turn up with your mouth. That's it.
If we can get one, if we can meet up first and see how, have a
Yeah,
jam, and then people gonna see what it is, because
I
usually
think it'd
people
be
kind of go
cool.
a little bit
Yeah,
and then they stop and they get self-conscious, and then it's like, no, you can't stop, you have to keep on going. You're like a
yeah,
choir, you all
yeah,
fucking get
yeah.
in there or it
Get
doesn't
in there.
work.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah. My friend, it
Oh,
has been a pleasure, and you know that. And it's been lovely to be able to return the favor to you for once because you've done so much for me amongst so many other musicians you have. And it was nice to be able to be on the other side and talk to you about what you do for a change. So I
thank
wish you
you
all the
so
best.
much.
I wish you
Thank
all
you,
the best.
thank you, thank you.
Benoit vibes.
See you soon,
Take
brother.
care. Take care. So that is a man who I absolutely adore. He's just cool as chips. Benoit vibes here in Limerick City. And check out DJ Nothing on his YouTube channel, Radio Nothing. He was saying he's going to do some Radio Nothing. So they're kind of like, I can imagine he's going to do some gigs like that, kind of beatboxing, not beatboxing. I don't want to use that word. Mouth music. That's what he does. Just him with the Boss Looper. And like, as you heard there, it's amazing what the guy can do with no instruments, just his body. And that's the best part. So I hope you enjoyed that. I really did. I really, really enjoyed that. So I hope you had a good time with that one. Moving on, we are now going to leave the island, and this is the time of the night where we kind of drift off and go a little bit global and head overseas. We're going to Estonia next, which I'm quite excited about, to meet Rahel and Beck. But before we do that, I want to play you a little song called Gordon by them, which I love. And I've been listening to this all day today. And I'm not lying. And I can't stop listening to it. I love it. There's a lovely vibe to it. Let's listen to this first, and then we'll talk to the guys. Friday Night Live.
is. There's something to share with the rest of the world. Gordon grew up in a heavenly town. He was born to make the world a little prettier. When he was 20 years old, he took the step to get where he is now. Where is he now? His mother said Gordon had a spark in his eyes no one could refuse to fall for. Gordon played games that ruined lives, and there are some who can't even speak about it. It took me a long time walking, took me some heavy falls. The way Gordon is, as he is and his fleet, there's something to share with the rest of the world. Been a long time walking, some heavy falls. The way Gordon is, as he is and his fleet, there's something to share with the rest of the world. I came to the story at the worst of his room, thinking this time it'll be different. I am happy to be alive, can't say that about Gordon. He was left to be never found. It took me a long time walking through some heavy thoughts. The way Gordon is, he is in his clean, something to share with the rest of the world. A long time walking, some heavy thoughts. The way Gordon is, yes, he is on his feet. There's something to share with the rest of the world.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, that is just organic as hell. That's what I love about that. Live, everything about them. They got in touch with me a little while ago when we put a call out for guests. Mike got in touch with me, actually, and I'm glad he did now. I'm really glad he got in touch with me and reached out because I love their stuff, and I've been watching a lot more than that. But that's a beautiful song, and it is, of course, Rahel and Beck, if you're looking for them online. They have a website, and they're everywhere else, but they'll tell us more. Let's go to Estonia on Friday Night Live and see what's going on. Hi, guys.
Tere August.
Listen, it's great to see you, Mike and Rahel. It really is great to see Mike. I have to start off. I cannot start this interview without saying happy birthday to you, my friend.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. It's a great way to celebrate.
It is, and I hope you've had a great day because it's late there, isn't it? What time is it in Estonia now?
It's 1 a.m.
Yeah, 1 a.m. Just a little after 1.
You guys, you're the best. I mean, for staying up this late, we pay homage. Thank you so much. Tell me this, Gordon. I'm intrigued. I've been listening to this. I've been listening to the song all day today. I really have, and during the week, but today a lot because on the day of the show I listened to the videos, to the music a lot coming up. So I'm really familiar, and I love it. Who is Gordon?
I first had the name come to me, and then the song followed. And then I think a few years after that, I found out that Gordon is a cat who lives in Grand Canyon. That is kind of the story. How it all came together.
Yeah, okay. It's melodically beautiful. I have to say, Mike, your chord work in that song is just dreamy. It's not your standard major chord progression, and I know that from being a guitarist myself. It's the movement in it, and it's just everything. But Rahel, I must say to you, your vocals are impeccable. You have a style that is organic. It's just that, and I mean that, and I don't mean that being, just saying it for the sake of it. You come across just so natural, and it's lovely. It's beautiful. It kind of takes me back to like that kind of 70s era, that kind of, I don't know, just that when people just sang and they didn't put any essence or worry into the way they sounded. You just sound good, and that's it. And that's what I think. Anyway, that's my opinion. Tell me, so you guys, Mike, are you based in Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago's my home. I grew up there, Chicago suburbs, and these days I spend about 2 months in Chicago during the summers, and then the rest of the time I'm on tour. I spend about 4 months touring Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and California, and then about 4 or 5 months here in Europe. Just came to Estonia, my second time in Estonia, just this past summer. I got here in August.
Brilliant.
And but I spent a lot of time. I've got a band in the Netherlands, and I spent a lot of time in Italy, Germany, and France.
Wow. You are a busy man, Mike. Because I was doing a little bit of reading, and you do not stop. I mean, you're the kind of, you remind me like kind of a Bruce Springsteen. You just gig and gig and gig, and it doesn't seem to. There's no phasing you. Do you just love? Are you that kind of musician that you have to be on stage to be doing it?
Yeah, I just love doing it. I feel very lucky to be able to do it full time and to make my living doing it. And as I'm getting older by the minute here as we
don't worry about that, Mike. Don't worry about that. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, well, but I figure whatever time I have left, I should spend it doing something I love. And I really, my favorite thing in the world is being in a room full of people who sing together. You sing a song that everybody knows, and they sing along. And I got my first shows in Europe were back in 2001. I was touring Irish pubs in Germany. And, it was a big thing back then in the late 1990s, early 2000s to have sing-along sessions at the Irish pubs. And so that was really kind of what brought me into the whole thing.
Brilliant. There is nothing like it. I agree with you. That feeling of an audience singing something back to you. And I can tell you, and you know this, and Rahel, you know this too, it's for an audience to sing back your song to you, that is, for me anyway, is the ultimate high. It is just the ultimate high. How did you two meet then? How did this begin? What happened? How did you, was it in America? Was it in Estonia or Europe?
No, it was in the middle.
Yeah.
But Mike has we have different versions
She
of the
tells
story.
me, she says, no, that's not how it happened. But I was playing at a small bar in Osteria in Verona, Italy.
Okay.
This was 5 years ago now. And I walked in to set up for the gig, and there were these two beautiful girls standing at the bar having a beer with violin cases on their backs.
Okay.
And I said, hey, are those violins? They're like, yeah. And I said, oh, well, I'm about to play some music. It would be wonderful if you joined me. And they did. A woman named Celia and Rahel were studying violin at the conservatory in Verona. And they ended up joining me for the night. We played a variety of music, and one particular, we did a Pink Floyd song that we put online as one of the videos that we shot from that night. And I said, oh, we had a great night together, had a lot of fun. And I said, oh, I'm playing in Rome next week. If you feel like coming and playing in Rome, I'd love to have you join me. And they said, oh, no, we can't come to Rome. And I got to the gig in Rome, and I was setting up my pedals, and I heard Mike, and I looked up, and there was Rahel. And
Wow.
about 2 months later, she came to the United States, did a tour with me we went to the Grand Canyon and played gigs. Where else did we play that first tour? I'm trying to remember. Arizona, and I think maybe Utah as well. And then it's been years.
An amazing journey. Yeah, that's
without question. Yeah, and so now I'm here in Estonia, where Rahel is from, which has been really fascinating. We went to Stockholm, Sweden. My first time there a couple weeks ago. Went to Riga, Latvia. It's like a whole new part of the world that I've never had a chance to explore.
Yeah, I love stories like this. I really do. I'll be honest, because I've done it myself, Mike. I've done it. I've been there, my friend, and I have been fortunate and lucky enough to kind of go around the world a few times with music. And there's always a cool twist, isn't there? You don't just bump into somebody with a violin at a bar for no reason. You know, it's cool. It doesn't have,
destiny, fate.
There is destiny. There is faith and destiny. There sure is. Like there is, and it's wonderful that you're doing this now. The video that I watched there for Gordon, I could be wrong, but do I hear a cello also in the background there?
Yes.
We were in a song circle in Colorado at an amazing folk festival called the Rocky Mountain Folks Fest. And in the song circle were a number of fantastic songwriters and performers. And one of the other songwriters is a woman named Mai Bloomfield. And she was playing, she had her cello, and she added some cello to that. And now we've got a whole string arrangement for the song. When we're going to try to record a studio version.
Good.
Composer Andy Brick did it. So
I cannot wait.
Sorry?
For that. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait either. We're excited.
Yeah. Because when I listen to it, and the more and more you listen to it, and today I suppose the cello kept jumping out more and more and more to me, and I was like, whoa. That's where it's at. That's where that song is at, because that's what kind of carries everything along, lovely. And then your chords, everything just it's perfect. It is perfect, guys. And kudos to you. It's going to be big, I think. If you get that done in the studio and get it out, it's going to be really cool, because it transcends all the language barriers too, Rahel. I think it's one of those songs that doesn't matter what language it's in. It's just beautiful, you know. And that to me means a lot. I think it will sell everywhere and everybody, you know. Tell me this and tell me no more. What is the plans? I know you guys, we've all been deep in pandemic and stuff like that, but now that you're back gigging, what are the plans after Estonia when you're finished doing what you're doing there?
Well, for me, it's a bit later. Mike leaves earlier, but we will go to the Netherlands and Germany and France. This is at least in our plans, but who knows if they come through. But
we've got dates booked. We start with
this is what you were telling me earlier on, Mike. Sorry, that's what I was alluding to. I don't mean a big plan now, Rahel. Relax, not a big plan, okay? I should have put that a little bit less serious. So you're going to France, that I do know, and you've got some dates lined up. What's the plan? What's happening?
On Sunday, I fly to Italy. I'm playing a gig in Verona. Where Rahel and I initially met, and then Rahel will fly and meet me in Amsterdam in about 2 weeks, and then we have a show in the Alsace-Moselle region of the northeastern region of France. We have a couple shows there on the 29th and 30th of October. Back to the Netherlands. We got some shows in Germany. And then I have an electric rock and roll band, and Rahel plays bass for the band. And
you're joking.
We're doing
no way.
Yeah. So
I would try at least.
Yeah, she rocks.
Rahel, I am liking you more and more by the minute. I'm telling you that. I didn't realize this was happening. So she's the bass player in the rock band.
Yes, exactly. So we're doing some shows in the Netherlands and Germany with the full band, and then we'll do Rahel and Beck acoustic shows, or more, just acoustic guitar and violin and harmony vocals.
Lovely. You do put some kind of traditional Irish stuff in there, don't you? You do instrumental traditional Irish stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Rahel's a huge fan of Irish music, and one of our dreams is to come and play in Ireland sometime soon. So Rahel has got me learn. She's had me learn a bunch of traditional Irish songs, and
Cool.
she loves the Irish fiddle, and so yeah.
It's wonderful. Well, I was going to ask you that, Rahel. You haven't been to Ireland yet, have you?
I have actually.
Yeah. And
once,
where
yes. I've
did you
been
get a
to
chance
Dublin.
did you get a chance to play?
No, but I got a chance to listen. That was also part of the dream, because I just walked into a pub and there were musicians sitting around the table and drinking beer and playing folk music, and that was just amazing.
Beautiful. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, it is beautiful. And the fiddle, as we call it, here it's just a huge instrument here. It's part of the backbone of Irish music, like. And that'd be great if you guys could come and do some shows here. That would be amazing. Here in the UK, I mean, you could do a nice little tour across both islands. It would be really cool, and you could be versatile. I'm sure you guys can play everything. I have a feeling, Mike, that you've got a repertoire that's quite big. I have a feeling that you've between the rock music, possibly a couple of other genres thrown in. There's nothing you can't turn your hand to.
Yeah, she's got me working on a George Michael tune, actually. But yeah, I'm a big fan of old rock and roll, Stones and the Beatles, and I love Southern rock and the stuff I write. I do my own original material as well. I've got a new album that I've been working on, and it's more of an electric rock and roll record, kind of in the realm of Lynyrd Skynyrd or the Eagles, that kind of thing.
Brilliant. Where can people get their hands, or can people get their hands on Rahel and Beck music now? Is it on a platform we can get our hands on it?
We have a few videos up on YouTube, so you can find us on our YouTube channel, or go to just rahelandbeck.com and that link to the YouTube channel. And we've got we're looking for a producer for the song that we plan to play for you tonight.
Brilliant.
And hopefully we'll have some songs up on Spotify here within the next couple months.
I have no doubt you will. I have a feeling you guys don't do things in halves. I think you guys do things very quickly. And, if Rahel can play violin and then bass in a rock band, I think that this is going to happen really quick. Listen, I look forward to it. I know where the YouTube channel is. Thanks for telling us about that, Mike. Everybody should go and check it out. You've got loads of cool stuff on it. And I'm looking forward to the studio stuff when it comes next.
We are too.
Tell me this, Rahel, I wanted to ask you this, because I don't know much about classical or orchestral, right? I'm not very well trained in this, but I was reading your bio here, and tell me about the Guerrilli Sound project.
Oh, that's based in Verona, Italy.
In Verona,
yes. The Elisabetta Guerrilli is an Italian composer and a pianist, and she's the head of this project, and I played with them for a few years. Now, when Corona ended all travels, then I haven't been with them for a while. But we do plays for families and children, and the main idea of this project is to keep families, and especially young people, children, connected to music and classical music, but also just the tradition to go and listen to music. That it's part of.
It's great. It's a great idea, isn't it? It's a nice. It's a nice thing to do. I do a lot of work like that here myself in Ireland, that through different genres or whatever. But to bring it to children, to bring music to children, even therapeutically, any way you can. It's really good, isn't it? It's really good. I do a lot of it with the drums and stuff. We do kind of like tribal drumming and different sort of. It's cool. I love all that kind of stuff. So the song
is so like direct and so real from children.
It is, isn't it? And children are so honest. I love that. They just tell you exactly how it is. And I think if the adults could be like that a little bit more, we'd have much more fun. We really would. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm not going to get too philosophical on it. The song that you're going to, because it's Mike's birthday, we can't get serious. We don't want to get too serious. No way. The song that you're going to play for us tonight, has this been done before anywhere? Or is this brand new?
Well, we haven't really performed it publicly. We performed it last winter during the Folk Alliance conference, but that was kind of a closed event.
Yeah,
so
I know what you mean.
this is-
Yeah. Well, listen, I wish you all the luck with the dates coming up in France and everywhere, and I hope that bass guitar. I hope you've got a good solid bass guitar there, Rahel, for your rock gigs. Okay, go for it. By the way, go for it. Yeah, it's great. You just leave the violin at home and just let the hair down. Go crazy. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, guys. It really has, and I look forward to hearing, especially the studio stuff, and I really look forward to hearing Gordon studio version. I can't wait. I genuinely mean that. It's a super song. So in your own time, take it away. What is this song called, Mike?
It's a song that Rahel wrote. It's called I Am or Old Tree.
Nice. I love it. In your own time,
Thanks
guys.
so much for having us on, Dave.
You're more than welcome. Take it away, guys.
And words that you use to describe this world. Oh, my knowledge is timeless. I can be until being becomes real. The rushing and burning one day will cease, will continue as we please. Let the sun rise, let there be light. Get rid of this madness for constant sight. What's going on around us? You're taking the lives, the purest of all. Let there be light, let me move on. I've been put into a place where I don't belong. Here no one can hear my song. Though I'm still alive, I would call it a dream. I wasn't looking forward to seeing. You see, my breathing is part of a bigger scene. It's meant for where you've never been. But here I am without wind and rain. I've been sentenced to waiting. Ain't let the sun rise, let there be light. Get rid of this madness for a constant sight. What's going on around us? You're taking the light of the purest of all. Let there be light, let me move on, let me be free, let me be free, let me be free, let me breathe, let me breathe. Let me breathe. I am an old tree, my heart goes to the roots of the beauty that keeps us here. You can take one or two, but you can't take us all. You're the one who will fall. I am all beauty with colors unreal. It's me who you're trying to be. You bring us doom, but then look at you. You can't change, I'll give you a clue. Let Get rid of this sadness for constant sight. Don't turn all around us. You're taking the light, the purest of all. Let there be light. Let me move on. I am an old tree, my heart goes to the roots of the beauty that keeps us here.
Bravo, bravo. Beautiful song, guys. Beautiful song. Rahel. You are a genius. Wonderful lyrics. Wonderful lyrics. That's what we need. More music like that. I love it. Now I think I have it, because I was just thinking as you were singing that there, right? You know the movie, the Beatles movie that's about to break, Get Back, the footage that we all want to see that we didn't get to see. That is where just reminds me, okay, of that kind of vibe. It's that real organic vibe. You have it in bucket loads, and I think in the studio, that's all you guys need to do, in my opinion. It's all there. It's just all there. I love it acoustically, and I think the tambourine is just beautiful. It's enough. It's just, and that's a sign of a really good song, I think. So kudos, guys. Beautiful song. Before you go, Mike, I have to ask you a question. I forgot to ask you this during the interview. I need to read this out because this is a mouthful, and I love it because I love cool band names. Okay, I love cool band names. So Chicago Mike's Intergalactic Brother and Sisterhood of Big-Eyed Beans.
Yes, that's exactly right. And
that is so cool.
133 members of the band scattered across the world. A bunch of guys in LA, some guys in Salt Lake City, Chicago. I learned very early on that traveling with the band can be very expensive. They like to sleep indoors and eat. Yes. And I've got a band in the north of Holland. I've got a band in the south of Holland. I got a band members in Italy, guys and gals scattered across the United States. One of them in Japan, Motohiro, is listening, I think, right now, watching from Japan.
Yes. Right here, actually, I'm just going to give you a quick comment there from your friend in Japan. Yeah, absolutely. I love you, Mike and Rahel.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Well, that's a great idea, Mike. Great idea, because it does cost a lot of money to travel with musicians, and it's why not?
And it's really created this, like I say, this brother and sisterhood of musicians across the world. And for a while, we had some gigs in Switzerland where they'd bring us in for a month, and we'd play every day. And the money was good enough. I could bring a couple of the guys in from the Netherlands, and a couple of guys in from Italy, and a couple of people in from the United States. And even though they had never played together before, they had all played with me. So they knew the material, and it is like a brotherhood. It's like a family.
Yeah. That's a great idea, man. That is a great idea, and it's a good way to get around, move fast, and tour fast. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You need to be mobile. Yeah. Well, I love the name though.
Chuck Berry, the Chuck Berry approach.
Yeah, the Chuck Berry approach. Now you said it. Yeah, now you said it, guys. I wish you all the best. And thank you so much. My first act in from Estonia. And it's cool, it's just, we're going to different destinations every week on Friday Night Live. So it's a pleasure as always. Look, maybe we'll see you in Ireland soon. I have a feeling we will. And if you are in Ireland and you do get to these shores, you know who to call, okay? Friday Night Live. Give us a shout, and we'll have a chat. We definitely know plenty of places down around the southwest here to play music and get gigs. So let us know, and we'll take it from there.
Can't wait. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Mike. Rahel, enjoy playing the bass guitar. Give it loads. Good night, guys. Have a good one. Good night. So that was Rahel and Beck, Mike Beck, of course, and all the way from Estonia there. I love their stuff. I really do. Gordon, that song that I played for you, the video earlier on, it's just beautiful. Check them out on YouTube. Rahel and Beck, Rahel with an N and Beck, Beck, and you'll find plenty of videos there to watch. And it looks like they're going recording, which is super. So you're going to be hearing some studio stuff as well, which is going to be even better. So fantastic. I hope you're enjoying the show tonight, lads, as much as I am. I really am enjoying the diversity that's come to Friday Night Live now, where it's not just the run of the mill sort of same kind of music all the time, that we're doing different stuff all the time and trying to broaden horizons. And no better than my next guest and final guest this evening, who is coming to us from his taxi, no less, which is quite cool. There's something cool about interviews in a car. I love it myself. I used to do it actually one time on Friday Night Live, where I used to actually do the show out of the back of the car. That was a while ago, and it is quite cool. But before we do go to Mr. Finn Hall in his taxi cab, who is my spoken word guest on Poetry Corner this week, the segment that you all know by now. And I would just a quick word that this segment is curated by my good dear friend Catrice Greer over in the States, and so far she has been bringing the most wonderful guests, and I mean the best of the best guests in the world of poetry and spoken word to Friday Night Live. And I really want to thank you, Catrice, for that before we go any further. But first, I'm going to play you something by Finn. And this is called, and this is kind of controversial. I want to talk to him about this in a minute. This is called, "This Is Not the Brexit I Voted For." So I suppose the best thing to do here is just listen to the piece first, because it's kind of controversial, but it makes a lot of sense as well. So this is him in his taxi doing his spoken word work into the camera, and then we'll catch him shortly for a live chat. So enjoy this, guys. This is called "This Is Not the Brexit I Voted For" by Finn Hall.
This is not the Brexit I voted for. I voted to get all the fucking foreigners out of the country. I voted to grow our own plants, to grow our own food, to grow our own beef, to grow our own live, to grow our own cotton, to make the Union Jack. And everyone should be wearing red, white and blue. Day and night we should all be crawling in front of the royal family. We should be subservient to them all. We should love them all, regardless. Prince Andrew is a paedophile, allegedly, but he's a royal family, so he's one of us. He's one of us. He's one of us. We should love him. We shouldn't be looking for a one-party state. It's a state. It's a mistake to have a one-party state like the bloody communists, where they rule over everything, where the working class are downtrodden. Or have one person in charge, one party in charge for years and years, like Germany, like Angela Merkel, where she welcomed all these foreigners, overrun with foreigners, but as a reasonably stable economy. We're now classed as the empty shelf nation, the broken nation, the self-sustaining nation that can't sustain anything. We're like a limp dick nation. With queues at the petrol stations, the greedy people filling up because they believed that there's a petrol shortage. It's a tanker shortage, nothing else. They've run out of diesel, so they can't even fill up the tankers to deliver the diesel to the petrol stations. And not all petrol stations. They're filling the cans the way they filled their wardrobes and their garages with toilet roll, because they believe the media who prey on every word that the green muppet, the Kermit admirer, the Eton educated, blonde-haired buffoon tells them. Oh yeah, but he did a good job with the vaccinations. That's because he's a prick. He knows how to talk to pricks and deal with pricks. So carry on wearing your Union Jacks. Everyone should be wearing a Union flag, the butcher's apron, as we continue to be compared in the continent and the rest of the world to a 70s, 80s, 90s Cuba with the empty shelves. Or Bulgaria in the 90s, where there's 2 items left in the supermarket. The only difference with Cuba is the people there are welcoming. They welcome foreigners. They don't try to kick them out. This isn't the Brexit you voted for. We wanted to still do what we want, travel abroad, but not have any abroad from abroad coming to here and taking over our jobs. Our jobs in the hotels have to close because there's no workers. The jobs driving tankers and lorries. But there's no tankers and lorries because there's no drivers. Why aren't they going for the job? You who moaned about other people taking the jobs, why haven't you applied for that jobs? Why aren't you cleaning the toilets? Why aren't you helping out in the nursing homes? Why aren't you stocking the shelves in Sainsbury's? Why aren't you driving the lorries to get our food to us, to get our petrol to us, to get our lives back? You want it back? Where you want it back from? Let's take Britain back. Back from where? Britain's always been Britain. It's been a shithole for years. And it's getting more so a shithole for years. And I'm not talking an anti-English rant, anti-union flag rant, anti-borders rant. Even up here in Scotland, where we have the darling of the press, the media darling up here, Nicola, who we all loved once upon a time, but she's now turning out just to be another apologist for Westminster. Another arse-licker to the Queen. Another has-been. Another dream shatterer. Like Boris. And don't tell me about the Labour Party, this Labour Party, who started turning blue when Tony Blair took over the country. It was a victory for common sense, we thought. Labour in after all these years. But then you found out that his hero was his inspiration was Margaret Thatcher. Don't talk to me about Labour. They're turning blue. They're the blue Tories. They're the red Tories. There's no difference between them. They're a sorry Tory of a different colour, which colour's changing back. Sir Keir Starmer, the man who writes no rights, but write a 1,000-word essay to the Fabian Society instead of a 1,000-word apology to the unions, a 1,000-word apology to the man on the street, a 1,000-word apology to the bobbies on the beat, a 1,000-word apology to the unemployed, a 1,000-word apology to the pensioners who this year's going to have to do without heat or food to eat. Because this is the Brexit you voted for. I don't blame the fucking Chinese for COVID. It's not all their fault. It's our fault for not closing the borders. We're still too scared to close the borders because it discourages trade. What trade? There is no trade. Unless you want to buy some coconuts from Guam or some cheap lamb from New Zealand. But our farmers' fields are full of lamb. It's a sham. This is the Brexit you voted for.
Wow. Guys, I gotta say, that is intense. I gotta say, from Finn Hall, I absolutely love that. When I listened to that, and I got a chance to listen to that twice, 2.5 times actually today, to be honest, because it's quite a long piece. The first time I listened to it, and this is just me, I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is very intense. I'm not sure what's this is very political, you know. And sometimes we kind of go, "Oh, this is political. I don't know. Should I be part of this now? I don't know what to think of this." And then I listened to it the second time, and then I really got what he was talking about. Like, really got it. You have to listen to the whole thing. You have to listen to the whole thing, and you have to pay attention from the beginning right to the end. And this third time, I got halfway through it. I was totally with it, but I didn't get to finish listening to it. And now I have listened to it 3 times, and I get it even more. It's very, very interesting. It's an interesting angle on the whole thing, because Brexit is something that is affecting not just our friends above in Scotland and in Wales and the north of Ireland, but here as well. So it's affecting everybody really across the world, to be honest. And it's as he says himself, this is not the Brexit we voted for. It's an interesting one, isn't it? But it's how he explains it, I suppose. It's very easy to say that this is not the Brexit we voted for. Anybody could say that, but when he goes into it and has a good old rant and a chat about it, like, he makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. But now he's in the taxi and he's driving around, and I haven't got him here yet, to be honest, long story short. And I expected that, so I'm not too worried. I know he will turn up. He's busy tonight, and he's going to be the first ever taxi interview on Friday Night live from his car, from the taxi. So we'll give him a chance, because actually what I wanted to mention as well, while we're on the subject of music, because I want to play you something that I was going to do at the end of the show. We can do it now while we're waiting on Finn. And it is my two people one person I've gotten to know quite well online from the pandemic is a lady from the United States called Jill Hales Barnes. So Jill is a fantastic singer, and she's been doing a lot of stuff, sharing a lot of stuff online during the pandemic, right back to the beginning of the lockdowns. And she's been sharing videos on kind of on Shmool and a cappella and different things like that, and Facebook Lives and all that. And then she went along and met up with a guy from Ireland called Stuart Kenny. And I think Stuart is based in Kildare. I could be wrong. Dublin, Kildare, somewhere around that. He'll tell me anyway, because we'll probably have them on the show again at some point, hopefully. And they formed a virtual band, long story short, between America and Ireland, and they named it Featherbed. So long story short, they began to do duets online on Shmool, basically a split screen thing, like what we're doing here. And they were singing together, doing cover versions and different stuff like that. And I began to get interested, kind of watch what they were doing, because a lot of people were doing similar things, but not to the level that these two people were doing it. And pretty soon it became a more serious affair, where they were writing stuff or having it written by writers, and they were singing original tunes together, which was awesome. So I was kind of keeping an eye on that. And then Jill came on the show, and she was one of my first batch of guests on Friday Night Live. And she did a wonderful interview, and a wonderful, sang beautifully and all that sort of stuff. And I was kind of hooked on what she was doing. So Featherbed, anyway, long story short, formed and have become quite a synonymous act, and I've had many downloads on Spotify and a lot of interest. And so long story short, something that I haven't heard of during post-lockdown anyway, Jill has decided, she jumped on a plane herself and her partner and a few of her family, and have traveled all the way over and are organized a meetup with Stuart, her co-singer and band member, and they have put a band together, and they are doing a live performance in the Silk and Thomas in Kildare town tomorrow night. And I thought I should give it a mention, because she's here in Ireland, and I was chatting to her over the past couple of days, and I just think it's wonderful what they're doing. So Featherbed tomorrow night are live in the Silk and Thomas. I'm not promoting the gig because it's actually sold out, so there's no point in me trying to promote ticket sales, which is wonderful for them. It is sold out. But tomorrow night, the 16th, Saturday night, Silk and Thomas, you know, the venue in the middle of Kildare town, they're going to be doing a live gig, and it's going to be awesome. I'd love to be there myself. I can't make it. I would love to be there, guys. If you're watching the replay, I'm giving you the best absolute wishes I can for the gig, and hopefully I'll catch you at another Featherbed gig. But it's wonderful. So I wanted to play something by Featherbed. So here we go. I want to play this for you now, and this is called Did You Cry Last Night? It's one of their own songs, and it's possibly on the album, I think. Maybe wrong, but they are selling albums at the gig as well, and I'm sure they're just going to sell like hotcakes as well. So this is Jill Hales Barnes and Stuart Kenny, Featherbed, a virtual pandemic band, something good that happened and is happening, and they're live in Kildare town tomorrow night. So I want to play this for you while we're waiting on Finn as well. So here we go. Friday Night Live.
Third time's the charm.
Enjoy this, people.
Maybe I'll get it. There's a note in there. Cry it out. I'm hitting the wrong note. I gotta find a better one. I'll get it. Just wish we were live, like on a stage right now.
Did you cry last night, howling at the moon? Did you cry last night, or sometime in the afternoon? Did you cry at all? Did you cry at all?
Did you walk the floor till your feet were sore? Did you walk the floor somewhere you've never been before? Did you walk the
Maybe somewhere there's a reason that explains the mysteries of broken hearts. The smiles and reason don't go hand in hand. It wouldn't even work in Never Land. So I cried last night, and I walked the floor. Did you cry last night? 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 Have your tears run dry? Are you all cried out? Have your tears run dry? Are you condemned to cry and cry? Have your tears run dry? Have your tears run dry? Do it, Jill.
Is there a part I'm supposed to be doing after that?
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I have to say, guys, that is Did You Cry Last Night? And it is just amazing. That's what the guys have been doing. I felt I needed to share that tonight as a little plug because having met them, having met Jill as a guest on the show and Stuart just basically on Facebook, I think it's wonderful what they're doing. I really do. It's something that you don't see. You don't hear of people going the distance. You know, a lot of us have met online, and a lot of us have been lucky enough to make contacts, as I have here with Friday Night Live. But making contacts is grand to a point. It's very easy online to make contacts and make all that kind of thing happen when you're at home here or you're virtual, and everybody was during lockdowns and stuff. But for Jill to get on a plane and go and fly the whole way here, and the guys be doing a live gig tomorrow night, is pretty spectacular. So kudos to you, lads. I felt I should definitely plug that. My last guest has gone missing in the taxi cab, unfortunately. I don't know where. So what we're going to do is we'll hang in for another few minutes, and hopefully he'll be available shortly. But while we're doing that, we'll just go on another bit of music. We might as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not actually sure yet, because usually I have a few things lined up, but I wasn't expecting Finn to get caught up this late. So what I'm going to do is, one second guys, we're going to throw a little bit of music for you, a shameless plug as we call it at the end of Friday Night Live. So we're just going to do a little bit of pushing here. I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight, guys. I really did, I have to say. It's been quite versatile, the whole thing. And I like the new spread of music. So I'm going to do a little shameless plug. I usually do this at the end of each show. We'll do it now anyway before we go any further. So a bit of myself, as to say, a little bit of shameless plugging and promotion. Why not? Do you know what? Actually, I'm just looking here. During the week, a friend of mine, now that I'm kind of doing things on the fly for a couple of minutes, I won't do a shameless plug. I'll do that at the end like I always do. This is a friend of mine. I'm going to play his single again. His name is, if I can find it here, 1 second now, guys, or maybe I won't be able to. All this button pushing now. 1 second, guys. Ba-da-ba. Mr. Davey Long was a guest of mine on the show about a month ago, and he has a new single out called Flesh and Blood, and I'm going to play that for you now because it's just such a great song, and it has been nominated by KCLR for Music Month. So basically, he goes forward to compete in the Music Month that all the radio stations are getting involved in, and his song "Flesh and Blood" will be representing Carlo Kilkenny. So I'm going to play you a bit of Davy Long. This is called Flesh and Blood. Super song by Davy Long. A great guy and a great musician. And this is his second single off the album. All of this has just been released. Check this out, guys. Enjoy.
About people just like me, just like you. I keep waking, not sleeping, under a pale winter moon, mind racing into the blue. We're all flesh and blood, space and time. Only try to stay alive. I live in the flood, a piece of driftwood, flesh and blood. Nobody knows what the spirit holds. Lightning through the streets, deluge breaking over the living. We're all flesh and blood, space and time. Only try to stay alive. I live in the flood, a piece of driftwood, flesh and blood. I fell upon the grass, a ghost from the past. Even the darkest night will pass. Even the darkest night will pass. We're all flesh and blood, space and time. Only try to stay alive. I live in the flood, a piece of driftwood, flesh and blood. I keep waking, not sleeping, under a pale winter moon, mind racing into the blue. I keep waking, not sleeping, under a pale winter moon, mind racing into the blue.
That's my good friend Davy Long, all the way from Kilkenny, and he has got a new single out called Flesh and Blood, and it is good, guys. I gotta say, it is pretty good. What a video! What an everything. He doesn't half do things. He really doesn't, and it is going forward through KCLR FM up in Kilkenny for Music Month, which is a national initiative for local heroes, local music, basically. And he's in the final at the minute, so of that region in Kilkenny. So vote for him. Please vote for him. He deserves it because he's put a lot of work into his music, and I gotta say, that is a classic tune. Anyway, we have Finn. I see him there. He's in the taxi. Finn, we were waiting on you, but don't panic. We knew you'd be okay. I knew you had to get to that place. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. So coming to us live now. We've just watched your piece, Finn, and a lot of people loved it. Really, really cool. Tell us, how is life there right now?
Fine. I'm fine. I decided to stop working for the night and
Good.
hassle. And I stay 35 miles out of the city, and I thought, well, I'll drive halfway home to the town I'm sitting in now.
Yeah.
And just sort of leave the city and then realise the main road's closed and there's a big freaking detour on. So it was like pedal to the metal to get here.
Listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Look, you're the first person that has actually joined us from work, from the workspace, and that takes dedication. So thank you so much for doing that. Where are you? Whereabouts are you based, Finn? Then whereabouts are you? What's the little town you're going to?
I live in a little town, a little village. It's not even a town. About 1,000 people, called Newport Sligo, which is 35 miles north of Aberdeen. It's just near the Murray Firth.
Okay.
Up that way, and the bit of Scotland they call the shoulder of Scotland, where it kind of goes along.
Yes.
Back.
Yeah.
I live there. Beautiful part of the world. Really, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and did you say it was the tail end of that name Sligo that you used there?
Pit Sligo. Yeah,
Sligo, because we have a Sligo in Ireland. It's interesting that that would be the same.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's a purpose-built village. It was built in the late 1700s, early 1800s by Lord Forbes, who was, prior to that, he was in the run from the English army during the Jacobite Rebellion and stuff like that. And he got this idea of a purpose-built village for workers from Ireland. I don't know where about in Ireland, from Ireland. But a farm area called Sligo, so it's not connected with that.
It's all making sense, though. It's starting to make sense, Finn. It's starting to make sense.
He built this village basically in this a history of traveling people, and everything's been through it, and workers and such like that.
Yeah.
It's an old place.
Cool, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's cool. Well, listen, we're going to get straight into talking about you and spoken word and poetry and all of the above, because we just watched your video there, and I felt, and I said, I don't know if you heard it, but I was saying to everybody here that when I watched it first, I've watched it now. I watched it 2.5 times before the show, and the third time 3.5 now, and it took me 3 goes to get over the controversial political side of it, because I was like, what am I going to do here? What am I going to say about this Brexit? It's such a hot potato, it's a hot potato to talk about. But you hit the ground running so fast in that piece that I was like, Jesus, where's this going? And then when you listen to it in its entirety and take your time, sit back, relax, I know I know what you're saying now. I get it. And it's very well put together, my friend. Very well thought out, even though I know you're on the fly and I know you're kind of doing it that way, but you've got a lot to say in that piece. Are you coming from the Scottish angle, or are you just coming from the whole thing, the whole mess that is Brexit right now?
I'm basically the whole thing. Obviously, I can't help the Scottish angle because I'm very pro that.
Yeah.
But very that was just an unusual piece for me, because that piece was written. I wrote it in my taxi, and what you're seeing in that video was it. I was going to work one Friday. It was the weekend of the petrol crap and going on like that. And I got so angry with everything. I pulled into a lay-by on my way to work, switched on the video, and just did that. I didn't write it. A stream of consciousness thing, and just put it down there. And then went, I feel better now.
A good old rant. Yeah, nothing like it. Yeah, and and you really covered everything. Like, I know you had the diesel and petrol shortage and all that, but when you said about it's not that, it's the tankards. So it's the drivers, it's the people, it's it is the whole, isn't it? It's like one big mash of crap that is getting bigger and bigger and bigger because politicians are making it worse. And I don't know where it's all going to end. And then during the piece, you did mention Nicola Sturgeon, which was quite interesting. And because to hear a Scotsman mentioning Nicola Sturgeon, and then I was thinking, has it come to that? Is that what, because I was thinking more as I was listening to it for the third time. Is it that kind of, and I don't want to get too political now, Finn, because I want to talk about your spoken word stuff, but is that the way it is kind of at the moment over there? Is it kind of very confusing, the whole setup.
It's ultra confusing for it's like the same for everyone. I mean, up here, as you know, getting a little bit political, we voted like Ireland, the Northern Ireland did as well, to stay in Europe. So we
Yeah.
were taken out against our will,
Yeah.
and there still is that thing in there. Nicola Sturgeon was seen to be not quite the darling in the media. I mean, that was an exaggeration, obviously, for poetry's sake. But she was deemed as a great leader. Even up here, people liked her, and people who didn't follow her political needs still would say, yeah, but she's pretty good the way she handles things.
Yeah.
She's losing that
Yeah.
personally for her, not for
Yeah.
a lot of other things, but she's losing that kind of popularity a bit just now. So
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, because she's quite likable. Like she was quite likable anyway at one point.
Still is, but she's made a few mistakes. And no, people make mistakes. I mean, I don't hold
Yeah.
them at things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's just those things people are going, no, quickly, get a move on. Let's do stuff. Stop
Yeah.
going to Westminster, generally speaking.
Looking for solutions. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, I getting to you now because we got to get to you because that's what we're here for. Poet, writer, filmmaker, producer, facilitator, collaborator, host, sometimes a photographer, which I love because I'm sometimes a photographer too, Finn. Now I'm not by no means professional, but I am sometimes. And then a one-time football reporter, and then of course taxi driver, where we are right now. So there's a lot going on. I'm going to break down little parts of it. I know you're a poet. I know you write. A filmmaker. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, that is, like, to tell the truth, everything apart from photography. I mean, I've been writing for a long time, but all this stuff that I've been doing just happened because of COVID, right?
Okay.
It gave me a focus and ideas. And
Yeah.
filmmaking is I've made a couple of films with helps of lots of other poets from over the world. And I've just done it at home from my own computer, iPad, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
been mainly 2 poetry films where I've come up with a theme. And the first one was Poets in Therapy, because a couple of friends of mine, poetic friends of mine, and they had complaining that, well, one's a musician and one's a poet, both Scottish. They were complaining that somebody had stolen some of their work and put it down as theirs.
Okay.
And ended up one of them I had and one of them I hadn't. It was just a mix-up. And I thought, artists struggle at times and they suffer and stuff. And I thought, well, what if poets went into therapy and they sat round in this chair and said, hello, my name's Finn and I'm a poet and my name's such and such. And people went with that idea. In fact, I wrote a verse and Kathy Carson was the first person. She came back with another verse. And then I said, well, why don't everybody do that? And we wrote verses and they sent them to me, little videos, and I made it into a movie with 20 different poets exploring angst, real or otherwise. Some people it was real and some people it just made up angst. And that was quite successful. And then they said, make another one. I thought, oh, yeah, okay. I had no idea what to do. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was I don't know if I've been dreaming. And, a collective noun, you got a murder of crows, you got a flock of seagulls. And I just woke up in the middle of the night, sat up and went, oh, a desolation of poets. And I just put that on to them the following day, that great idea. So that's what they went with, a desolation of poets. They wrote about desolation, their own way, real desolation, political, any interpretation of what they did. And I did that. And I started collating the third one, a bit cheerier, called A Celebration of Poets, where poets write about happy things for a change. So
Yeah. That's a great idea. To bring everybody together, especially as well. A lot of there's been a lot of good stuff like that in the pandemic, hasn't there? Like of poetry, poets, musicians, whatever we are in the arts, coming together and sort of looking out for each other. And you're one of those people I can tell right now who is making the moves to bring people together, which is awesome. Kathy's here, by the way. Kathy Carson is in the room, and fabulous. When she was a great guest on the show as well. And she says, great conversation with one of my faves, and she is super. I loved the interview with her as well. And tell me about the photography. Is that just something that you kind of do as a hobby, or are you getting really into it as well?
Sorry, the photography.
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah, well, it's something I used to do. I don't do it so much now. I do have a camera, but I don't. I used to have a camera and carry it with me everywhere. And I did back, I can't remember, 10, 12 years ago. I had photo exhibitions and I had one solo show, but it was photographic art. It wasn't always just straightforward photograph.
Yeah.
And I did stuff with, sometimes I painted over them. I can't paint, but I painted over them. And I did some solo stuff, and I did have some in multi-exhibitions and one photograph in a book. But
Brilliant.
with advent of great cameras, iPhones and killer smartphones, where the cameras are pretty good in them. Limited for some stuff, but great quality of pictures. And now everybody takes pictures.
Everybody,
so there's too much now for me.
Yeah.
I still do take some pictures, and I still have that eye on things.
But it's so watered down now, isn't it? It's like the competition's just gone out of it. It's just like everybody can do it, and then it's like filters. Everybody's filtering, and everybody's doing this and doing that. And the eye is what it's all about. But listen, tell me, right, we better get to it. We're going to get to this, the spoken word. Okay, this is where you're at right now, and this is what you're doing, and you're doing it very well. So tell me, how long are you doing? How long? At what point did you sort of drop into spoken word and poetry? Is it something that's been with you for a long, long time, or did you just suddenly kind of go, okay, this is it? Where was the turning point?
I first started writing poetry. I give my age away. 51 years. I was 18 when I first started writing poetry, and it was a typical. Well, I thought at the time typical. 18-year-old angst and crap and influence. I actually started writing it a lot as I hear a song in my head and I write it as a song, but because I can't sing, because I can't play an instrument, because I'm not really music, I just wrote the words down and forgot the tune. Nowadays I'd say to someone, look here, I've got this, here's a tune. But back then I didn't, and I just wrote them down. And I just kept writing, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I've been writing for such and such a long time. I've written less this past 15 years or so, up until a couple of years ago than I've done. In fact, I hadn't written for ages, years and years between it. Maybe this whole, but 1999, probably the last time I wrote anything, really.
Yeah.
And I just drifted away about it. And then 4 years ago, I started an event called Everybody is a Story, where I just did live storytelling, where I got people in a venue and they just told a 20-minute story or 10-minute story about their life, a true story about their life, a little short. I mean, everybody has a story, be it a holiday story.
We all have it. We do. Yeah, we sure do.
And it's just convincing people to do it. And once you got them upstage, their nerves lost it and they just went and they loved it. And then I was doing that. And then lockdown happened. Well, no, actually, like the year before lockdown, I was involved with that in a fringe event for a friend of mine put on a fringe event, a poetry night to do with another art thing that was going on in Aberdeen. And then she says, okay, I'm putting on a poetry night. The next night you can put on your storytell event as part of the fringe. She did it, and that's fine. And I went to her poetry event. And she didn't know I wrote poetry. Nobody did, apart from a few close friends. And she says, have you got anything? I went, no, I don't have anything. No, I don't have anything. And then at the break, I actually wrote something on my phone. It was the first thing I've written for years. And I said, I've got something. And I go up. And she went, yeah, sure. And I went up. And actually, all it was a really short piece, which was an advert for my show the following night. in a poetic form, I went up with it on my cheek, and people liked it. And I thought, wow. So after that, there's a regular monthly event in Aberdeen called Speaking Weird. Here we go. Run by an Irish girl called Orla Kelly who lives in the city, and she runs this spoken word event. And
Brilliant.
I went along to that, and I've been going to that ever since. And then I just got more and more. When lockdown came, I just started up writing more and went to Zoom shows, and then started my own Zoom show. And now I do my own live one, as well as the monthly one. I do a 2-monthly one in Aberdeen.
Tell me about Like a Blot from the Blue, because I like this.
Yeah, that's the name. It was the name of a poem I wrote a long, long time ago, back in the 90s, I think. About it's a poem about televangelist. It comes across as slightly, having a go at religion, but I keep pointing out to people it's not. It's having a go at the televangelists who, give me money, drive away in their big cars, stuff like that. It's less a thing, more an American thing.
Yeah.
It's not a great poem, but the title was Like a Blot from the Blue. And then when I started my Zoom shows a year past August, I thought, what will I call it? And that name just seemed to stick good because it's a play on words, and poets like playing on words and things like that. And it confuses people. People say, is it a bolt from the blue? And I go, no, it's a blot from the blue.
Yeah, I love it. I love it though. It's catchy. It is, and that you're right. It just you subconsciously just remember it, and that's the main thing. It sticks.
And now I use that for my live shows, and I use that, if you like, for my I say production business. It's not a business, but my films have got that used by a lot. A blot from the blue, and I just use that as my unmoney making company name.
Why not? When is the next Like a Blot from the Blue? When is the next one? Because I think I saw something online recently.
Yeah, I have the live one in Aberdeen at convenient. Actually, no, it's not convenient. I choose this place to see if they would do it because it works, and it's a pub called the Blue Lamp in Aberdeen, and that's on Sunday the 24th, and then on November the 7th is my monthly Zoom show.
Yes,
Like a Blot from the.
That's the one that I've seen. How do people get to it, Finn? What's the easiest way to find it?
Well, the easiest way to find is to go on Facebook and find my one of my pages. My page is for my poetry, and my show is called, funny enough, Like a Blot from the Blue.
There you go.
And
there is a page.
Follow that Facebook page. The events get posted up. The Zoom link gets posted up on the day before, a couple of days before the show, and most welcome. It can go on. The one before the last one went on for 4 hours, so it's a really, really, really long show. And people come and go. I don't expect people to last the 4 hours, although there's a core group that do.
They do, of course. Yeah.
But some people, I say, come in, watch for a bit. If you want to read a poem or something, let me know. If you want to read and then go, I don't mind. Read your piece and then go. I know people have got lives. People have got lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it, yeah. Yeah, I get it. I hear you, man. Friday Night Live is average is about 2 to 2.5 hours long. You know yourself, it's live, so it changes all the time. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, people come and go. I wouldn't expect people to kind of stay, say, look, guys, if you leave, I'll know you left. Yeah, you can't do that with people. You just go for it. And it's lovely to have that kind of atmosphere where you can pop in and pop out. I like that with shows like that where you can kind of, at ease. There's no pressure. I certainly, I'd like to go and see it. I've said, I always say to Catrice when I'm talking to her, I know very little about spoken word. I'm learning now because of the segment on the show, and I'm getting more and more curious the more I go in. I feel like I'm going into this kind of woods of spoken word and poetry, and I can't get back out, and I don't want to. I kind of want to know more, So I'm looking forward to checking out that Like a Blot from the Blue, 7th of November. And
7th, yeah, 7th.
And people, if people just discover it, as in just all of us who don't know, who wouldn't know you personally or like that, we can just log in and join, can we?
Yeah, I do have a waiting room in it because I used to have waiting rooms, but I get so busy and so
Yeah,
engrossed watching people that I would forget to let them in the waiting room, and I'm getting messages on the phone and my iPad, my computer. I'm in the waiting room. I'm in, so I let them in. They just come in.
just let them.
I use this.
Yeah, just let them in. Yeah,
I've been very lucky. I've had no trouble. I've had no Zoom bombers, as they
brilliant.
call them.
Yeah. Good. And
There's
rightly so.
a
Yeah, rightly
great
so.
bunch.
Yeah, thank God.
Pop in, and just even if you stay for half an hour, you'll see some stunning people from all over the world. I mean, I've had them. I've got regulars that come from mainland Europe, from Ukraine, from America, Canada, sometimes Australia. I've had New Zealand, Mexico, just people, Philippines, everywhere. They
Brilliant.
just come. Fantastic
Brilliant.
people.
I wish you all the best. You're a very well liked person in the circles because I'm getting to know the circle now, and I'm getting to know a lot more people. And everybody from the circuit, anyone I've been speaking to, has said that they have the utmost of respect for you. You're well liked in spoken word circles, and I can tell. I'm not just going to say. I'm not saying this because we're live, but I can see now why you're quite an interesting person to talk to, Finn, and an enjoyable person to talk to, and. Thank you for joining me from the taxi, by the way, because I know it's not easy. And most people are sitting at home, like myself here, when you're doing the job and you have to pull over and do the interview. That's commitment. I'll give you that.
I do a lot of the poetry writing in the taxi too, and editing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good place to work. It is a good place to work.
Yeah, that's my second office. So.
Yeah, I actually did a show out of the back of the car. I got bored here one weekend and I just got tired of doing the show all the time with the camera and the whole, and I went out and got into the back of the car, and it was one of the best shows ever of all of them. I don't know why. It was just me and the phone. So sometimes we overthink things, don't we? We kind of, overthink the whole process. Well, listen, I wish you all the best, and listen, get yourself home anyway. Get yourself the rest of the way home and chill out and relax. Keep in touch, and I'll do my best to pop into Like a Blot from the Blue, and we'll put a link up as well on Friday Night Live on the page. We'll put a link up as well so everybody knows how to get there.
Before we go any further, can I just say that next year, the 6th and 7th of August, and I'm actually doing this, I'm fundraising at the moment. This is not, I beg for money just now. I'm fundraising elsewhere, looking for grants. I'm putting on a 2-day spoken word event in my village of New Sligo. It's never been done up here. I've never done it before. And,
brilliant.
So I'm doing that spoken word, storytelling, a little bit of music. 3 different venues have already signed up for it as well. So it's just, I'm excited about that. Although Excellent. It's 10 months away.
Okay, but it's good. Before we do leave, would you be able to do a little piece for us? Would you do something for us now live?
I can do that, yeah. And I'm going to do something here that's very apt. It's my favorite piece that I've written recently. And it's apt because I'm in the taxi, and it's apt because it's self-explanatory as I go through it. Okay?
Okay.
So just going out,
I'm going to let you take it away in your own time. Finn Hall, spoken word poet. Thank you so much for joining Friday Night Live tonight. In your own time, my friend, work away. Live from the taxi on Friday Night Live.
Thank you. This one's called Closed Captions English Standard. I wear hearing aids and am what they call profoundly deaf. I hear, but sometimes I have difficulty picking out the actual words that people are saying. I find it hard sometimes to catch all the words that my fellow poets are saying when they do their reading. I wish the world came with subtitles. It's bad in my taxi with masks and the screen between me and my passengers to get them to speak clearly and give me their destination. I wish the world came with subtitles. I mean, watching TV is great when the programs have closed captions, but I hate it when they don't, or some on-demand shows don't, or when the words are behind the actual audio. I wish the world came with subtitles. In this constantly masked-off world, concessions are made for many, but city centres are blocked off for the disabled, and deaf people can get out, but we can't see what you're saying. I wish the world came with subtitles. I play my music too loud. My radio goes on too loud. My podcasts go on too loud. I'm not too proud. If you ask me to turn it down, I don't know. I don't realize. I can't be sure how it sounds to you. I know how it sounds to me. Loud. But not too. I wish the world came with subtitles. I mean, hearing aids aren't perfect. They don't make things normal. They help. I'm not ignoring you. Your words are important. I mean, very important. It's just, well, I can't explain, which is strange for one who uses words to make a point, tell a story, let you know. I'm sorry. I wish the world came with subtitles. I take them out, almost silence. Can barely hear the washing machine, the noisy washing machine when I'm in the kitchen beside it. The morning alarm, it rings for ages, disturbing my wife, waking her when she doesn't need to be awake. I don't hear it until it gradually gets louder. I wish the world came with subtitles. I wasn't born this way. It's hereditary. My grandma on my father's side, then my dad, but he never went and seen about it. Then me, now my daughter. My grandma's aid was big and hung in a strap beneath her top. It squeaked feedback if you went too close. You had to speak into the box at times to be heard. In a world before subtitles. I do sometimes enjoy the silence, switching mine off or taking them off and being alone in my head. Enjoy the silence of being at one with me. But then I still need to know when I get shouted down for tea, and yes, I realise I should check to see if the volume on my phone is up. But wouldn't it be great if the world came with subtitles? Floating in the air, words destined only for the people that they are meant for, or flick an imaginary switch, and you can see everybody's words floating, soaring, shouting, swearing, counting, caring. Perfect for finding words for a found poem, the silence of constant chatter, in a world where words do matter. Choose your font, choose your language, hit translate. Was that? Too late. Your word escaped in the breeze to hide amongst the trees. A world, not perfect, but with subtitles. Thank you.
Yeah. I love that, Finn. I do like that. I have to say, I do. I do wish the world came with subtitles. I get it. That's. I'm bowled over by that. Yeah. You've been spending a lot of time in the taxi and doing a lot of deep thinking, my friend. A lot of deep thinking. And what I love about your stuff is that you got to listen to it all. You have to listen to the whole thing to get the point. You know what I mean? Because it meanders and it travels as it goes along, and I love that about it.
I've often done that. It's not deliberate. It's just the way it is. You know, it's like I'll sometimes start a piece because I like a title that comes in my head, or I write a few lines.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily tie in with the end of the piece, but it's the get to the end. It's the thing.
that's what I like.
It's in.
Yes, that's it, and that's what I like about it. Yeah, you got to stay with it. You got to stay with it. It's been a pleasure, and I mean that. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You're joining the illustrious lineup of super poets and spoken word artists that have been on so far via our dear friend Catrice Greer in the States. So thank you so much, Finn Hall, once again for representing the world of spoken word, word and poetry. And I wish you all the best, my friend. Get yourself home safely and in one piece. And we'll put a link up to like a blot from the blue on Friday Night Live on the page and make sure everybody knows about it. How about that?
Thank you very much indeed. That'd be wonderful. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Finn. Take care, my friend. Take care. Mind yourself. That was Finn Hall. on his way home, just heading south from Aberdeen down to a little village that ends with the word Sligo. That's kind of cool. Like, there is a little bit of Ireland everywhere, isn't there? Really, when you look around, there is really a bit of us everywhere. Similar with, of course, Scottish people. There's a lot of Scotland around the world as well. If you go and look for it, we're quite similar. I do like Scotland, I have to say. I enjoy going. I've been there a few times, and I really always enjoyed my trips there. Thank you, Finn Hall. Like a Blot from the Blue is coming up on the 7th of November. It's a Zoom sort of open Zoom meeting where you can go and listen to fabulous poetry and spoken word for free. You just have to, all you got to do is find his page on Facebook, get the Zoom link, and just log in, and it's free. A bit like Friday Night Live, guys. It's free. You just get to sit back and listen and enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I had an absolute ball tonight. It probably has been the most diverse and varied guests list on the on Friday Night Live so far, and it's getting that way every week. That's what I'm liking about it. It's really broadening. Everything is broadening and getting more rounded and stuff like that. You know, the only genre I was just thinking during the week that I haven't actually had the chance to touch on yet, and maybe this is a little clue for next week, because I did say this to you last week about a super guest that's coming up on the 22nd of October. The only genre that I haven't touched on yet on Friday Night Live is comedy. We haven't had a comedian on Friday Night Live yet. Maybe next week would be a good time to do that. All going well. And I'll leave that with you. That's a clue. One of my favorite, if it all goes well, one of my favorite comedies to ever come out of this country. I should have a member of that cast on next week, who you will all know, and he's great crack. And it'll be the first ever comedian on Friday Night Live. So if that pans out next Friday, I'll be a very happy man. And so will you guys. You will enjoy him so much. Thanks once again, lads, for joining me on Friday Night Live. You know who you are, as we call it. Some of you, the core audience who are here every week in week in, week out, but also all the people that come and go, and the people that have just discovered Friday Night Live. It's me. It's Dave Morrissey in the gaff here in Limerick, just broadcasting away from home. Started during lockdown, and I'm still doing it and enjoying it, and we're going to keep doing it up until the end of this year, and who knows after that what will happen. So that's it. It's gone on. We've gone way over time, but it's been fun, and it's never a problem when it's fun. I don't care how long it goes on for when it's a bit of crack. I'm going to leave you now with the shameless plug, though, that's for sure. And this is, of course, my own tune called Bring Out the Light. Guys, thanks a million. Mind yourselves. The PayPal link is at the bottom of the screen if you would like to donate to the show. Make it small, nothing major. It's just to keep things rolling. Feel free. Thank you so much, guys. See you again next week for a big show coming up again. Take care. Mind yourselves. Good night. Dave Morrissey out. Cheers, lads. Mind yourselves.
This is the last trip into the sun before we fall back under the thumb. This is the last dance under the moon, and I know I can get through to you. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. You hide, it's in your life. The truth is a thing that you can't find. That's why I've got to take you back to show you how to see the light. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. Bring out the light. Bring it on, bring it. 'Cause everyone knows it's a feeling. You can feel it. Just let yourself go and believe it and receive it. into the light and I'm feeling high as a kite. It's just one more twist of the screw and I know I can get through to you. Bring out the light. 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 Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it. Bring out the light. Bring out the light.